Many non-divers are having so many misconceptions about scuba diving that gives them anxieties to take a plunge and explore the underwater world. So we are here to debunk some of the most common scuba diving myths. Myth number 1. Sharks eat divers. Hindi kabilang sa diet ng mga pating ang tao. They feed on different kinds of fish, sea mammals, and invertebrates like squids. Shark encounters are very rare during dives unless you dive in shark-inhabited sites. Myth number 2. Scuba diving is only for expert swimmers. Hindi mo kailangan maging expert swimmer para ma-enjoy ang scuba diving. You would only need basic swimming skills to ensure your safety when scuba diving. Myth number 3. Scuba diving is only for the rich. Of course, when we travel, we have to save up and pay for our trips. Pero sa scuba diving, hindi mo kailangan gumastos ng malaki para bumili ng diving gear para mag-dive. Pwedeng mag-rent muna nito sa mga dive centers. And on top of that, as we've covered earlier, affordable din ang intro dive packages. Myth number 4. Scuba diving is dangerous. Actually, scuba diving is considered to be a low-risk activity. It may even be deemed as a much safer activity than swimming. Dito, sa pamamagitan ng scuba gear, makakahinga ka sa ilalim ng dagat while enjoying underwater wonders. Para magawa ito through swimming, kailangan mong pigilan ang iyong paghinga at umahon from time to time. And myth number 5. The deeper you dive, the better you see. This is absolutely wrong. According to research, 90% of discovered marine life ay makikita sa coastlines at shallow areas. In fact, some of the best dive sites are explored through shore diving. There's nothing to be worried about. We hope those fast facts helped ease your fears. Are you a traveler or adventure seeker who wants to level up adventures to an ultimate experience? Well, you must definitely add scuba diving to your bucket list. And here are our top 4 reasons why. Reason number 1. You can travel and see the world from a different perspective. Through scuba diving, you'll get the chance to explore the underwater world. The ocean covers more than 70% of the planet, which means that there are simply a lot of beautiful things to discover under the sea. Scuba diving is one way to get up and close and personal with a wide variety of marine creatures and colorful corals. Scuba diving will allow you to take Instagrammable photos and videos of your one-of-a-kind adventure in the deep blue sea. On top of that, this fresh and unique view of nature will allow you to better appreciate the wonders of God's creations. Reason number 2. You can have a much-needed break from your busy city life. When you scuba dive, you'll find that being underwater is a very relaxing experience. Tanging paghinga mo lang ang maririnig mo. Due to the absence of excess noise and with the bounty of mesmerizing views, many divers share that scuba diving relieves them of stress and anxiety. Kaya kung stressed out ka na sa work o sa love life, then scuba diving is one activity that you shouldn't miss. Reason number 3. Scuba diving is easy. That's right! Madali lang matutunan ang scuba diving. Even newbie divers can get the hang of scuba diving after a short orientation with a dive instructor or a dive master. On the average, 15 minutes lang ang kailangan para matutunan ng mga basic skills that you'll need to go on an underwater adventure. Just make sure to remember the instructions to keep safe while you dive. And if you want to get the scuba diving certification, you'll only need 2 to 3 days of training. Reason number 4, scuba diving is fun. Through scuba diving, we can experience the amazing feat of breathing underwater. Not only that, scuba diving allows us to move freely, up and down or even sideways underwater. Scuba divers can glide gracefully as if defying gravity. Isn't it exciting? So, what are you waiting for? Take a plunge and try out the ultimate scuba diving experience.
It's a good day. A good day to have a wonderful.
Experience new exciting dive adventures. Take a plunge with your dive guide. Discover the mystifying underwater world. Behold the unbelievable. Be amazed by the wonders of creation. Raise ocean awareness. Be first in ocean updates. And be inspired with the intensified marine conservation advocacies. I protect the ocean. Gear up for a new chapter of making waves beneath. With your diving buddy, The Dive, on its Season 7. Experience new exciting dive adventures. Take a plunge with your dive guide. Discover the mystifying underwater world. Behold the unbelievable. Be amazed by the wonders of creation. Raise ocean awareness. Be first in ocean updates. And be inspired with the intensified marine conservation advocacies. I protect the ocean. Gear up chapter of making waves beneath. With your diving buddy, The Dive, on its Season 7. Are you a traveler or adventure seeker who wants to level up adventures to an ultimate experience? Well, you must definitely add scuba diving to your bucket list. And here are our top 4 reasons why. Reason number 1. You can travel and see the world from a different perspective. Through scuba diving, you'll get the chance to explore the underwater world. The ocean covers more than 70% of the planet, which means that there are simply a lot of beautiful things to discover under the sea. Scuba diving is one way to get up and close and personal with a wide variety of marine creatures and colorful corals. Scuba diving will allow you to take Instagrammable photos and videos of your one-of-a-kind adventure in the deep blue sea. On top of that, this fresh and unique view of nature will allow you to better appreciate the wonders of God's creations. Reason number 2, you can have a much-needed break from your busy city life. When you scuba dive, you'll find that being underwater is a very relaxing experience. Tanging paghinga mo lang ang maririnig mo. Due to the absence of excess noise and with the bounty of mesmerizing views, many divers share that scuba diving relieves them of stress and anxiety. Kaya kung stressed out ka na sa work o sa love life, then scuba diving is one activity that you shouldn't miss. Reason number 3, scuba diving is easy. That's right! Madali lang matutunan ang scuba diving. Even newbie divers can get the hang of scuba diving after a short orientation with a dive instructor or a dive master. On the average, 15 minutes lang ang kailangan para matutunan ng mga basic skills that you'll need to go on an underwater adventure. Just make sure to remember the instructions to keep safe while you dive. And if you want to get a scuba diving certification, you'll only need 2 to 3 days of training. Reason number 4, scuba diving is fun. Through scuba diving, we can experience the amazing feat of breathing underwater. Not only that, scuba diving allows us to move freely, up and down or even sideways underwater. Scuba divers can glide gracefully as if defying gravity. Isn't it exciting? So, what are you waiting for? Take a plunge and try out the ultimate scuba diving experience.
It's a good day. A good day to have a wonderful.
Experience new exciting dive adventures. Take a plunge with your dive guide. Discover the mystifying underwater world. Behold the unbelievable. Be amazed by the wonders of creation. Raise ocean awareness. Be first in ocean updates. And be inspired with the intensified marine conservation advocacies. I protect the ocean. Gear up for a new chapter of making waves beneath. With your diving buddy, The Dive, on its Season 7.
Friends and fellow bread members, please be ready to join us in a doxology. Friends and fellow bread members, please be ready to join us in a doxology number.
Basta may discount daw. Sige, basta madami yun. Kasi kontra tayo.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your The Dive host, Cindy Madduma.
At ako ang inyong resident host mula sa Bible Reader Society International. Ako, si Vergel Villanueva. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Cindy! Yes, it's my pleasure and honor to be with you this afternoon.
Magandang hapon, Verge.
Yes, maganda ka pa ngayon sa hapon, partner.
Well, I'm just adjusting to our new normal. Ikaw naman, Verge, kamusta ka naman?
Eto, buhay pa naman tayo sa awat tulong ng Diyos. Kaya yun, masaya-masaya. At nagkaroon tayo ng ganitong opportunity. Kaming mga tiga Bible Reader Society International ay sobrang excited dito sa ating webinar for this afternoon. Pero yun, no, Cindy, enough of us. Gusto kong kunin ang chance na to para batiin ang ating mga audience na nasa Zoom at ang mga nakatune in sa ating live stream via Facebook at YouTube. Kaway-kaway naman kayo dyan. Yes, nahiya pa sila. Cindy, ayaw pa mag-open ang camera ng iba.
You're right, Verge, dahil ngayon ay naka-live tayo sa ating Facebook at YouTube page. So sa ating Facebook, we have The Dive, and then on our YouTube page, we have The Dive Philippines.
Yes, kaya tawagin na natin ang ating mga kasambahay, ang ating mga kabred, ang ating mga kaibigan, kapitbahay, suking tindahan. Tawagin na po natin silang lahat, mga kabred at mga kasambahay. Sabihan na natin silang magsisimula na ang Plastik Talk, the Gen Z Hero and You.
And as we formally open our webinar, Vergel, bigyan muna natin ng idea ang ating mga participants why we are gathering virtually. Well, This webinar, in partnership with Bread Society International, is part of the Global Recycling Celebration Day and the Dive I Protect the Ocean Advocacy. We would want to discover ano ba ang power and roles na magagawa ng mga Gen Z and behavioral change to address our plastic pollution, to preserve our marine environment, and to secure a sustainable future. So, without further ado, we would like to welcome you to Plastik Talk, the Gen Z hero in you.
Yes, salamat dyan, Cindy. At actually, balita ko nga kahapon, March 18 ay ang Global Recycling Day, which is an event that recognizes the importance of recycling in preserving the environment, in minimizing plastic pollution, and securing a sustainable future. So para sa iyo, no, Cindy, bakit importante? Kasi yun nga di ba, we get to have yung Global Recycling Day natin yesterday, and ito ngayon pinag-uusapan natin ang tungkol sa marine conservation. Baka nagtataka yung ating mga kabred, bakit ba related ang recycling, bakit related ang waste management sa marine conservation?
Yeah, kasi everything we does here sa surface ay napupunta lahat yan sa karagatan. So it's really important na sa bahay pa lang natututunan na natin mag-recycle para yung mga basura nating plastic ay hindi na mapunta sa karagatan. Kasi everything nga is interconnected, di ba? And we are all living in one earth. So it's really important. And mamaya, yung mga speakers natin, they will tackle all about this, no? So sila yung nasa more in-depth about recycling.
Yes, and yun nga, Cindy, no? Ako nakikita ko rin na bilang ikaw as someone na nag-host ng The Dive, nakita mo personally yung impact na yon ng mga ginagawa dito sa surface. Tapos, yun nga, napupunta yung waste natin from the surface to the ocean. And ito, I think, isang bagay na hindi madaling ma-realize ng ating mga kabred at ng ating mga kasambahay na, magtapon ako ng plastic sa kung saan man, may impact na yun. So, ayun, very excited ako para at least malaman ng ating mga kasambahay at ng ating mga kabred kung paano ba rin sila makakatulong para sa problema na ito na talagang kinakaharap natin ngayon. Pero bago natin, Cindy, ibigay sa kanila ang ating speakers, I think it's only appropriate that we first introduce our respective organizations. Sige, simulan mo na, Cindy. Ano nga ba ang The Dive?
So bago ko ikwento sa inyo kung ano nga ba ang The Dive, let's first watch this short video.
Experience new exciting dive adventures. Take a plunge with your dive guide. Discover the mystifying underwater world. Behold the unbelievable. Be amazed by the wonders of creation. Raise ocean awareness. Be first in ocean updates. And be inspired with the intensified marine conservation advocacies. I protect the ocean. Gear up for a new chapter of making waves beneath. With your diving buddy, The Dive, on its Season 7.
The Dive is conceptualized by our very own President and CEO, Kuya Daniel Rason. The program aims to showcase the beauty and wonders of our ocean, and not to mention the world-class diving destinations that we have here in the Philippines, but at the same time, it also promotes marine conservation and general for us to protect the ocean and the bounty of its resources. Mapapanood ang The Dive every Sunday, 11 a.m. on UNTV Channel 37. You can also watch our diving adventures via live streaming on Facebook page and YouTube channel of The Dive and UNTV News and Rescue. And don't forget to follow our social media accounts para lagi tayong makasama sa underwater adventures in making waves beneath. Ikaw naman, Verge, intriguing sa akin yung name ng organization nyo. Ano nga ba yung Bread Society?
Yes, lagi sa aming natatanong yan, Cindy. Akala kasi nila nagmamasa kami ng tinapay, nagbe-bake. Hindi po kami bakery, mga kaibigan. So ano nga ba ang Bread Society? No? Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, Bread Society stands for the Bible Readers Society International. Bread Society is a social, civic, religious, non-sectarian organization that aims to promote Bible reading and public services among youth. So baka nagtataka kasi kayo, mga kasambahay, I think yung mga kabrad natin hindi na magtataka, no? Pero yung mga kasambahay natin na suki ng The Dive, bakit ba na-involve ang Bread Society, ang isang Bible reading society like Bread Society sa ganito? Well, ang mga tiga-bread kasi ay naturuan, una sa lahat, na gumawa ng mabuti sa ating mga kapwa-tao. And ito, I think, is a good opportunity para sa mga kabred natin na makagawa rin ng mabuti, hindi lang sa ating mga kapwa-tao, kundi para na rin sa kalikasan. Siguro, Cindy, yun muna ang ibibigay ko sa inyong description para sa bread, at siguro yun muna ang ibibigay naming description ni Cindy sa inyo for both organizations. Patigin muna, but you will know more about both groups later on as we progress in our discussion. But for now, we would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our partner schools, universities, and organizations. Take it away, Cindy.
This time, we would like to take the opportunity to thank the schools and universities partnering with us for this event. Quezon City Youth Development Office, College of St. Catherine, Quezon City, La Verdad Christian School Incorporated, Manila Science High School, Polytechnic University of the Philippines College of Business Administration Student Council, Gateway Integrated School of Science and Technology, University of Makati School of Law, Anima Liges, University of Makati School of Law Government, University of Makati Higher School League of Humanities, Stand Live Follow Personal Development Organization, Higher School ng UMAC.
Yes, hindi rin naman papahuli, Cindy, ang ating mga kasama mula sa University of Makati School of Law, Government, Science, Technology, and Mathematics Society, Higher School ng UMAC, Lyceum of Alabang, Bignay National High School, Pasay City East High School, Vicente Malapitan Senior High School, and Mr. Jeric R. Garcia, Cavite State University Silang Campus, Mateo Hagmis Memorial Elementary School, Santa Maria High School at Balanacan National High School. Baka kasi nagtataka kayo, hindi yan lahat ng ating mga partner schools, napakarami nila. Pero yan muna ang first half natin and more to come later. Pero yon mga kasambahay, mga kabred, gusto lang rin namin ipaalam sa inyo na hindi lang via Zoom, YouTube at Facebook ang ating kasayahan dahil we will be having our Twitter party.
Please join the online conservation using the hashtag Plastik Talk and I Protect the Ocean kung may thoughts kayo sa topic, may experience na naaalala or gusto nyong ma-express kung gaano kagaling ang ating speakers sa kanilang respective fields. Pwedeng-pwede nyong sabihin yan sa inyong mga tweets.
Yes, Cindy, we also have a question that our audience might want to answer. Yung ating engagement question is, what is the best way for the youth to help protect the ocean? Sana ay makita namin ang inyong pagiging active, mga kasambahay, mga kabred, sa ating social media accounts, especially sa Twitter, at sana kung maaari mapatrend natin ang ating hashtag. Again, our hashtag is hashtag Plastik Talk and hashtag I Protect the Ocean. So Cindy, paano ba tatakbo yung event natin for today?
Well, we'll be having a casual conversation with our 4 speakers today. At dahil nga casual lang, please feel free to comment and tweet your thoughts.
Oo, casual lang tayo. Huwag tayo kinakabahan. Kasi ako, Cindy, kinakabahan ako. Joke lang. Pero yun, no? Kasi,
actually, ako rin medyo kinakabahan ako sa internet connection ko.
diba? Pero so far naman nakikisama. Pwede rin po nating ipatrend ang hashtag nasaan si Converge para sa internet connection ni Cindy. Pero kayo,
maulan kasi ngayon, kaya gano'n.
oo nga. Kanina pa nga kulog ng kulog dito, Cindy. Pero yon, kung kayo naman kasama namin dito sa Zoom, please open your cameras katulad nung sinabi ko kanina para rin ma-feel namin na kasama namin kayo. Kasi totoo lang, no, to share sa aming mga nag-host, totoo lang mag-isa kami sa kung nasaan kami, kailangan maramdaman namin na kasali namin kayo, di ba? Mga kabren, mga kasambahay, so please pa-open ang ating mga camera at makigulo kayo sa ating mga discussions later. Also, you also have the chance later to ask our speakers questions throughout the program. And speaking of Q&A, Cindy, punta lamang tayo sa slido.com to ask our questions. Again, that's slido.com at i-enter natin ang code na ibibigay namin sa screen. Dito sa Slido, you may opt not to share your name at okay lang na hindi nyo i-share yung name kung nahihiya kayo at kung kunwari, nakapagtapon po ako ng 1 toneladang basura kahapon. Yung gano'n, wag naman sana. Pero kung meron gano'n, okay lang naman. So, ang ang code natin ay #questions. Yun ang code natin for slido.com. Punta kayo sa slido.com at i-key in nyo ang questions ninyo doon. At mamaya, we'll try to read all of them at itanong natin sa ating mga guest speakers. At again, yun nga, kung nahihiya kayo, you can maintain your anonymity throughout the question and answer program. Huwag kayong mahiya, mga kabred at mga kasambahay.
Alright, again, our code is questions and please just ask questions na related sa dinidiscuss ng ating mga speakers. And please be reminded that we will only acknowledge questions na isa-send via Slido and not for the chat box or comment section. Yan, please take note of that. But don't worry kung wala pa kayong maisip na tanong during our discussions dahil meron pa rin tayong open forum mamaya after the talk of our speakers.
Yes, hindi. Pero ako, I know na maraming mga tanong na nabubuo sa isipan ng ating mga suking divers at ating mga suking kabred. Pero ngayon, punta muna tayo sa ating pampa-excite na fish game! Yes, may pa-fish game tayo, fish game! Yes. Siyempre, no, alam niyo naman yung no.
Masyado ka excited,
ayan.
No?
Oo, ayan, may lumalangoy sa ilalim natin, Cindy. Ano ba yung naglalangoy-langoy na yan? So ang title ng fish game natin, nahirapan kami kasing mag-isip ng title. Finding Nena na lang. Finding Nena. So hanapin natin yung mga fish na katulad nung nasa baba na nakikita ninyo gumagalaw-galaw. Yan na ang una nating fish, no? So sana yung gusto namin mangyari ay magbilang lang tayo, mga kapatid. Mga kababayan, mga kapitbahay, magbilang lang tayo kung ilang fish. Huwag nyo pong kuhanin yung fish mula sa screen, hindi po yan na iluluto. So bibilangin lang po natin kung ilan silang lahat. At yun na po ang una natin, no? So that's the first fish na bibilangin ninyo yung nagpakita kanina. At later may mga lalabas na fish icon sa ating screen throughout the program. So towards the end of the program, bibigyan namin kayo ng chance para i-send ang inyong mga sagot. So please wait para sa aming hudyat para ibigay ninyo ang sagot ninyo kung ilan bang fish ang nakita ninyo throughout the program. Ang pinakaunang makakasagot na pinakamalapit sa tamang bilang o syempre yung makakatama ang magkakamit ng prize. And we will be picking 3 winners that will win exciting prizes from The Dive and from Bread Society International. Dahil nasa screen nyo na kanina ang isda, yun na yung una natin. Again, count that as 1. May isa na kayong isda. Congratulations, mahal ang isda ngayon, mga kasambahay. So sige, Cindy.
So dapat pala, Verge, talaga nakikinig sila at nakatutok sa ating audience para manalo sila ng ating games.
Oo, Cindy,
diba?
kasi mahirap yun. Yung, hindi ninyo makikita yung isda kapag kung may iba kayong ginagawa. Maganda rin tumutok tayo, mga kabred, no? Kasi ang daming in store para sa atin sa araw na ito, no? At yun, sana hindi natin masayang yung opportunity na to na may matutunan para kung paano ba tayo kahit na lockdown, kahit na pandemic ngayon, paano ba tayo pwede pang makatulong sa ating inang kalikasan. Sige, Cindy?
All right, Verge, with that being said, let us now proceed with the heart of our program, why our oceans are so important and why must we protect them.
karagatan ay bumapalot sa mahigit 70% ng daigdig, higit na mas malawak kaysa sa lupa. Ang dagat ang puso ng mundo. Ang pag-agos ng tubig ang pulso na bumubuhay rito. Pero paano kung tumigil na ito sa pagtibok? Mahigit 50% ng oxygen sa mundo ay nanggagaling sa karagatan. Sa bawat 10 hinga mo, 7 rito ay galing sa nare-recycle na hangin ng mga nilalang sa dagat kahit gaano ka man kalayo rito. Karamihan naman ng carbon dioxide waste ng mundo ay hinihigop din ng dagat. Higit sa 50 beses kaysa sa naiipon sa atmosphere. Ayon sa US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, ang karagatan din ang bumabalanse sa ating klima. Karamihan sa ulang pumapatak sa lupa ay galing sa tubig dagat na nagsisiguradong matitiligan ang mga tuyong kalupaan. At sa ilalim ng karagatan, isang nakamamanghang mundo ang ating matutunghayan. Nagsisilbing kanlungan sa sari-saring buhay na siya namang nagiging pagkain ng mga nananahan sa lupa. Maging sa larangan ng medisina, may mahalagang papel ang karagatan. Ayon sa mga siyentista, malaki ang posibilidad na mula sa ilalim ng dagat ay makatutuklas ng gamot para sa malubhang sakit tulad ng cancer, Alzheimer's disease at marami pang iba. Teka, sa US at kabuuan ng dagat yan ha? Paano sa Pilipinas? Sa nakita nating nakamamanghang yaman at halaga ng karagatan, masasabing pinagpala ang Pilipinas. Isang archipelago na may 7,641 isla. Ang ating bansa ay napalilibutan ng malalaking karagatan. Matatagpuan sa puso ng Coral Triangle ang sentro ng samot-saring buhay sa ilalim ng dagat. Kaya naman tinawag ang Pilipinas bilang Center of Global Marine Biodiversity. Ayon sa mga pag-aaral, sa Pilipinas matatagpuan ang pinakamaraming marine life per unit area kaysa alinmang lugar sa mundo. Dahil sa lawak na sakop ng katubigan, mahigit 60% ng populasyon ng Pilipinas ay namumuhay sa coastal areas. Mahigit 1 milyong Pilipino naman ang nakadepende sa karagatan ang kabuhayan, tulad ng pangingisda at iba pang trabahong may kaugnayan sa turismo. Dahil ang ganda at yaman ng karagatan ng Pilipinas ay tanyag sa buong mundo bilang world's leading dive destination. Kamangha-manghang isipin na sa lawak at lalim ng karagatan, tila hindi ito makukulang. Ngunit sa kabilang banda, ang karagatan ay nahihirapan ng huminga dahil ito sa mga itinatapon nating plastic. Ayon sa Ocean Conservancy, mahigit kumulang 8 bilyong toneladang plastic ang napupunta sa dagat kada taon. At ang Pilipinas ay ikatlo sa world's largest ocean polluters. Halos 3 milyong toneladang basurang plastic ang napoproduce ng bansa at 20% nito ay napupunta sa karagatan. Maraming nilalang sa dagat ang namamatay at nagdurusa dahil sa basura. May magagawa pa ba? May magagawa ka ba? Tara sa Plastik Talk and be part of the Gen Z heroes.
The best solution to address this problem is behavioral change and to cooperate. Everybody has to change. Everybody has to take a look at how they live their lives and what kind of quality of life do they want for the kids in the future.
Let's dive right into it, Kabrad and Buddies.
Yes, I think Sandy, very excited na rin ang ating mga kasama, no? At para sa akin, no, sobrang relevant sobrang relevant and timely nung diniscuss sa ating AVP. Considering na yun na nga no, marami sa ating mga millennials, marami sa ating mga contemporary ang nag-iisip pag naisip po kasi yung karagatan, swimming lang, beach, ganun lang naiisip ng mga tao Pero hindi nila na-realize, ako personally hindi ko alam yun kanina, na malaki pala sa ating mga oxygen and carbon dioxide. Yung needs natin for oxygen and para mawala ang carbon dioxide ay nakadepende sa ating oceans. Kaya yun, Cindy, ako rin sobrang marami na akong natutunan dun pa lang sa video kanina. Kaya excited rin kami, Cindy, na malaman kung ano pa ba ang mga bagay na masishare mo at masishare ng ating mga speakers sa atin for today's webinar. Pero yon, sige Cindy, isa lang pa rin pala sa gusto kong sabihin. Dumating kasi sa akin yung isang info. Sabi nung isa, para daw unlimited na yung fish. Paano po namin bibilangin yun? Ang daming fish kanina sa video. Hindi po yun yung bibilangin niyo. Ang bibilangin niyo po, sa ilalim po namin, meron po dyang mga fish na lalangoy. Hindi po yung lumalangoy sa dagat mismo. Naloko naman kasi ako para sabi, ay naku po, paano namin bibilangin yun? Hindi po yun yung bibilangin niyo mga kasambahay, mga kabred. Iba po ang pinabibilang namin. At sana po naalala niyo yung itsura ng fish kanina. So sige, siguro hindi ko napapatagalin pa. Ito ang ating mga speakers for today's webinar. Una nating speaker ay isang high school student mula sa The Beacon Academy sa Binyan, Laguna. At even though bata pa siya, ay isa siya sa mga founders ng Kaligiran, a youth organization encouraging people to take action for a sustainable future. Let us all greet Miss Jamin Esdicul.
Also with us is a fellow ocean enthusiast, a diver, photographer, and an industrial designer in the making. He is an intern in the Cleaner Oceans Project, or CoOP, an organization that upholds marine conservation through responsible consumer behavior. Please welcome Mr. Santiago Varona.
Yes, our next speaker is also from CoOP. He is a certified scuba and free diver and a teacher in various CoOP projects concerning plastic segregation. He is also an advocate for raising awareness on environmental issues, even in social media. One of our CoOP interns, let us all welcome Mr. Benj Esdicul.
Also joining us today is a person who have devoted herself to caring for our oceans. As a diver, photographer, consultant, and producer, she worked in various environmental institutions such as the World Wildlife Fund for Nature and the United Nations Development Program. Let us give a warm welcome to the CEO and founder of Clean Our Oceans Project, Ms. Ana Varona.
Yes! Hello sa ating mga speakers. Hello. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. We are very much honored and privileged na makasama kayo sa hapon na ito. So, kumusta naman kayo? Siguro yun, kahit na sinong mag-start.
Hello po, thank you for being with us.
Yes, hindi. Kamusta naman si siguro start tayo with Jamin. Hello, Jamin. Kumusta ka naman?
Hello po. Okay naman.
Yes, kamusta ka naman, Jamin? Okay naman kayo dyan?
Yes.
So far, kamusta naman ang pagiging active natin sa ating advocacy kahit na pandemic now?
Actually, mahirap pero over time, lumaki yung reach namin, madaming followers, and then, ayun, madami kaming na-encourage mag-take action, and madami din kaming na-educate regarding environmental issues happening right now and before.
Yes, Jamin, partida pa yan, no, Cindy? Partida pa yan na hindi pa sila nakakapag-mobilize actively sa ground considering the lockdowns and the pandemic. Sige, salamat sa iyo, Jamin. Kumusta rin naman natin si Yago? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, magandang hapon. Kumusta ka naman? Yes, Cindy? Yes, sige, Yago, hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Sige, kumusta ka naman?
Okay naman po.
Yeah, so paano rin, yun rin siguro yung question ko sa'yo, no? Question namin sa'yo ni Cindy. How are you sustaining yung advocacy ninyo considering na yun nga ang daming hindrances now, considering the pandemic and the lockdowns?
I mean, we're doing our best, trying to hold as we are still trying to maintain that that activity with regards to holding our events like Drop the Plastics. We try as much as possible to stay away and keep social distancing naman. But it's been somewhat difficult, but we're doing our best.
Yun, sige. Thank you very much, Santiago. Punta rin tayo kay Benj. Cindy?
Hello po.
Sige, Cindy, may question ka ba kay Benj para sa ating pangungumusta rin sa kanya? Yes, so kamusta ka ba, Benj? Kamusta ang advocacy?
So, obviously with the lockdown and all that, we've mostly been focusing on
Later na lang siguro yung
social
question,
platforms.
no?
And we've also been trying to expand yung Instagram pages, awareness with our friends and families. And actually, recently we've been trying to get, more active with CoOP in the villages and try to get people to actually drop off their plastics and all that. Yeah. So in a way, okay then. There's a lot of progress then during this pandemic. So yeah.
Yes, thank you for that, Benj. And of course, nandito ang ating unang makakasama si Miss Anna. Hello, Miss Anna.
Hi, Verge. Hi, Cindy.
Yes, alam ko naman, Cindy, na si Miss Anna hindi yan natigil kahit na lockdown, no? Tsaka kahit na pandemic, alam kong hindi humihinto yan. So, kamusta ka naman, Miss Anna? At kamusta naman ang status ng inyong work considering the pandemics and the lockdown?
I'm so glad to see you, Cindy, again in the dive. Also, and see Maribel and Direct RG. I'm always so glad to be part of the dive programs because pareho tayo ng mga puso. Naging custodian ho tayo ng planet Earth at dapat ho pangalagaan ho natin yung binigay ho sa atin ng Diyos. So thank you very much also, Verge, for those questions. Yeah, the pandemic is very tough kasi we stopped collection for several months and every time I hear about plastic pollution and the mass being thrown into the ocean, I always think that could have been diverted, and or that people could have been educated about reusable masks. And I'm also thinking, kung mask lang bang problema? Hindi kasi marami dyan, syempre, yung regular consumer plastics na ginagamit pa rin natin, problema pa rin yun, pupunta pa rin ng landfill. So, hindi kami makadivert na mga plastics away from the ocean. So that was really a big worry of mine. Hindi ako makatulog. Tapos, this opportunity came na lang nung September. We were able to start collecting from the communities. We went back home. Kasi nag-corporate na kami. We went back home. We went back home to Ayala Labang. Tapos because we have our Kaligiran, the youth group, they were able to tap into other communities. So we're doing very well considering pandemic.
Yes, ang ganda naman marinig yon, Miss Anna, no? At actually yon, ako very much interested ako sa kung ano ba yung ginagawa ninyo, no? So para malaman rin ng ating mga kasambahay at ang ating mga kabred. Sige, let's go first with you, Miss Anna, no? During our introduction, ikaw ay pinakilala as the founder and CEO of Clean Our Oceans Project or CoOP. So Miss Anna, ano nga ba ang Clean Our Oceans Project?
Okay, Clean Our Oceans Project is an organization that teaches responsible consumer behavior kasi yung goal namin is to protect the marine environment. So that like what Cindy said, we have to pave the way for a sustainable future. And starting with consumer behavior is what I believe would pave the way for that. So that's what CoOP is all about. So we educate. Then we also provide infrastructure for people to lead that kind of lifestyle that we are teaching about. And then we also partnered up with corporates, manufacturers, so that they will also take responsibility for the plastics that they produce.
good thing about your organization, Miss Anna, no? Kasi you're not just changing the behavior of the people, kasi you're also teaching them how to do it, when to do it, what should be needed to do, and then you're also showing them on how you can take part in direct action, and then after that kung ano yung effect nung behavior na yon at kung ano yung magagawa, katulad nga yung mga crates na ginagawa ninyo. Tsaka yun, nakakatuwa kasi isipin mo, instead na mapunta yung kalat na to, yung plastic na to sa dagat, nagawan nyo na agad ng paraan. So hindi na siya makakadagdag sa landfill, hindi na siya mapupunta sa dagat and all. And I'm very proud of your organization, Ms. Anna, and we're very, very grateful to be partnering with you.
I'm so blessed to have you guys actually. Pareho kayo. Kasi paminsan kasi we were also dealing with a time where people was just saying no to plastics. So which was very not sustainable. It's unrealistic considering how much plastics have invaded our lives, di ba? So hindi natin basta-basta sabihin na no. Kasi nagkakaroon pa ng judgment noon pag gumagamit ng plastic ang tao. So CoOP is very practical in approach. It's very realistic and also takes the responsibility towards yourself instead of trying to take the responsibility and throw it at the big companies because hindi nila gagawin yun. So bago ka mag-preach, di ba? Dapat siguraduhin mo malinis ka. Di ba? So yan. So CoOP starts with you. Cindy. So yan. So doon kami nakakasundo palagi na Cindy, nakakatuwa. I like our conversations every time we meet up. And we see things in the same way. We need to be more forgiving about people's lifestyles. We cannot impose on what we want.
And yun nga po, Miss Anna. And honestly speaking, napakahirap naman po talaga tanggalin yung plastic sa buhay natin, di ba? Kasi simula nung parang kahit pilit mong iwasan, for example, pumunta ka sa restaurant, no? There are times na ilalagay ko pa doon na please do not put straw on my drinks. And then pagdating sa akin ng coco, may straw na po, parang, okay, ano pang gagawin mo? Kasi gamitin mo man siya o hindi, nandun na. So, minsan yung ganun. Pero maganda rin na i-incorporate natin sa knowledge ng mga tao na pag nakakita sila ng magiging consciously, ano na sila, ay shucks, gumamit ako ng plastic, ganyan. And malaking bagay na rin yun. Malaking bagay na rin.
Yes, yeah, I really like yun, no, na we are practical, we are realistic, and we are forgiving. And advocacy na madaling salihan, hindi lang ng ating mga kasambahay, kundi ng ating mga kabred na kabataan. So sige, Cindy.
Ayun, to Miss Jamin naman. It was mentioned that you're from Kaligiran, and actually very interesting yung name na Kaligiran. So can you please tell us about Kaligiran, its objectives, and how did you make this group?
Yes. So Kaligiran is environment in Filipino. Pwede din kapaligiran, pero we shortened it to Kaligiran. And it's a youth organization driven by project-based actions in the hopes to create a future where people can live without the adverse effects of the climate crisis and plastic pollution. And so we're set on raising awareness about the growing problems of plastic pollution, especially in the Philippines, and encouraging people to take action on it too. So yun nga, same as Tita Anna said in CoOP, our end goal or our main goal is for us to conserve the environment and also to have a sustainable community in the long run.
Yes, I love the word play, Jamin, no? Kasi syempre, actually ako nagtataka rin ako, ano ba yung kaligiran? Yun nga, kapaligiran. So kaligiran, very, very witty. I like that, Jamin.
Pero yung ng kapaligiran.
Oo nga, Cindy. Pero yung isa kong gusto rin tanungin sa inyo, of course, yung isa rin na-encounter ko sa hindi naman rin former, pero as an environment advocate nung medyo bata-bata ako, ang hirap to ask yung ating mga kasamang kabataan about the environment, primarily because it's not really that sexy for them. Para sa iba kasi, 'di ba, na ano, 'di ba, yung environment kasi it's not really kumbaga ang hirap mo siyang ipasok sa lifestyle ng mga kabataan na ngayon iba naman ang focus nila, no? So siguro, Jamin, yung isa ko ring tanong is, paano ninyo nagawa yan? How did you make Kaligiran and how did you make your advocacy related to the environment palatable to the youth?
So for us living today, we're super consumerist behavior. So everywhere na lang talaga plastic, fast fashion and all those things. And at one point, we bought a small bottle and dalawang sip lang, wala nang water. And we were like, anong gagawin natin dito? Parang ang pointless. It's so sayang kasi after 2 sips, to throw mo na din yung plastic bottle and we didn't know what to do. So we were like, why not start something? And at first we were doubtful na not a lot of people would listen to us and like actually take us seriously, lalo na high school students pa lang, and we were talking about the environment and not a lot of people talk about the environment. And so pinush talaga namin. We started talking to our friends and families first, and then we brought it to social media to have a higher reach. And yun, we related more into like our regular behaviors like fast fashion, and then we address it and we kind of keep it neutral, saying the pros and the cons. So alam din nila, and that's on them if they want to take responsibility on their actions and if they want to change their behaviors or not.
Yes, ang ganda nun, Jamin. Hindi alienating yung approach nila, no, Cindy?
Correct. At saka, totoo naman talaga yung youth natin, yung napakalaking impact ngayon when it comes to solving the problems, not just on our nation, but international. Imagine yung kay Greta Thunberg, di ba? Yung kanyang simple cause ay naging global movement, and ang dami na nang na-inspire niya na youth, not even youth, but even the older generation, not young, but younger generation. Di ba, Verge?
Oo, Cindy. Actually, yung isa rin gusto kong tanungin kay Miss Ana is about naman dun sa initiative na tinatawag na Drop the Plastic. Para saan kasi very appropriate rin yun. Kanina, we are talking about being practical, being realistic, and being appropriate to the youth, no? So, tapos yung pangalan pa ng webinar natin ngayon ay Plastik Talk. So, Miss Ana, can you please inform us further? Ano ba yung Drop the Plastic campaign at paano ba ito nagsimula?
The Drop the Plastic campaign came about during the pandemic. Kasi, so it's a two-pronged message, right? So not only are we saying you drop the plastic off the drop of points, but we're also encouraging people to drop the plastic in their lifestyles as much as possible. So Drop the Plastic is an event that comes after a series of sections there in Cleaner Oceans projects. So CoOP is all about awareness and education. Think Before You Throw is the actual teaching module. And then Drop the Plastic, of course, is the event where people can actually practice what they learned in Think Before You Throw. So it's a stage, no? So Drop the Plastic being the event, we empower people to actually bring their plastics to an area and this area collects it, diba? We collect it, and then we reassure people that it doesn't get into the landfills and it doesn't fall into the oceans. So they have that reassurance that it will be sent to the recyclers and upcyclers instead of it going to the landfill and the ocean for plastic pollution. So we divert it. So that's what Drop the Plastic is all about, and we started it in Ayala, Alabang during pandemic. We used to have like 10 points before in 2019, and we were able to gather 14 tons of plastics. Ang nangyari dahil sa pandemic, syempre wala nang office, di ba, panay work from home. So it was impossible to have the event during those days. Now, we brought it back home, Ayala Alabang, and then na-add na Ayala South Vale Village, na-add ang Alabang Hills, na-add ang Pacific Village. Tapos yung Ideal Subdivision is also doing Drop the Plastic sila every weekend. Sabi, once a month. So yeah, we give the opportunity for people to drop the plastics from their lifestyle and drop the plastic for CoOP to collect and divert it away from the ocean. That's what Drop the Plastic is.
Mas marami na po ba kayong areas ngayon, Miss Ana, na kung saan sila pwedeng mag-drop ng plastic? For example, dito sa amin kasi Mandaluyong area ako. Saan ako mas malapit na pwedeng mag-drop ng plastic ko?
Sa Mandaluyong right now, you can go straight to Arca South sa Eco Hub. Pwede mo nang dalhin na lang doon. Yun. But we're it's slowly building up. And then with that comes other infrastructure that will help people also earn money from it. So that's exciting.
Oh, very exciting yun, Miss Ana, no, considering the progress you have done during the pandemic and during the lockdown. Actually, yun nga, kaya ako natatanong kanina eh. Kasi I can just imagine gaano kahirap yun to start that during the pandemic, no? Pero you are expanding pa from AAV to other villages and from other villages to different areas across the metro. And baka basically we can expand afterwards beyond the metro, no, Miss Ana?
Yeah, that's what we're really hoping for. Actually, yung beyond the metro, yung sa mga coastal communities, may isa pa kaming partner, yung Pure Oceans. Kilala niyo yan, si Pia Rojas Ocampo, di ba? So sa kanila na yung sa island, sa probinsya. Para nangyari yan, ako dito sa urban communities. Kaya naman nag-expand dahil din kasi meron mga ibang mga non-profit organizations who are also interested in the advocacy that we are promoting, which is, yun na nga, keeping plastic pollution at bay. And JCI has helped us. Kaligiran has, of course, helped us tremendously because they have their, kids kasi, if you ask me about why the youth is crucial to this advocacy, kasi the parents will listen to the children. Why will they listen to the children about the environment? Because the environment is their future. It's no longer ours. We need to take care of it for them. So if they're showing initiative that they are taking care of it, the parents will be motivated to help them. So kaya nag-expand dahil nga sa kabataan, dahil sa kanila, kay Yago, kay Benj, kay Jamin, Rocio, kay Ashley, yung mga yan. Kaya dahil sa kanila din yan.
Thank you, Miss Ana. So, balik naman muna tayo kay Miss Jamin, no? So, Miss Jamin, what made Kaligiran decide to partner with CoOP for the Drop the Plastic project?
So, we were actually invited by Tita Ana to one of the Drop the Plastic events. And ayun, we were able to do hands-on work there. And nakita talaga namin na they were segregating it and we were rejecting it if they weren't cleaning it, because that's their responsibility to clean it too. And ayun, we talked to Tita Ana, and as we talked, we realized that we had the same goal, like an end-term goal. And that was yun nga, for us to prevent plastic pollution to go to our oceans, because it will be detrimental to that. So ayun, after that Drop the Plastic event, we were like, oh, let's partner up with Tita Ana. And that's how it started.
Yes, ang ganda nga no, Miss Jamin, considering na yung advocacy ninyo sa Kaligiran complements yung advocacy rin ng CoOP. So actually it's just expanding yung initial na advocacy ni CoOP to the youth primarily. And yun rin ang main na goal ng ating talk for today. Kaya rin gusto kong tanungin si Yago and si Benj, no. Para sa inyo naman rin, ano yung motivation ninyo to decide to be an intern for CoOP? Yes.
For me naman po, it was mainly I wanted to not only help out my mom with a family business, but I also wanted to educate myself on the plastic problem. And because I noticed that there were a lot of different videos online going around on how animals were getting affected by it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us know or have seen that video of the turtle with a plastic straw lodged in its nose, and a few other videos actually impacted me a lot. And aside from the environmental advocacy part, I thought it would also be a good experience. It would teach me how to work with people and how to also better teach people about certain things like this plastic problem. And it was also a way for me to just expound my abilities because I am a college student and I feel like this will really help me once I leave school. So yeah.
Yes, and Benj.
As for me naman po, uh, other than obviously growing up here sa bahay din Tita Ana, parang naging din akong anak niya. So, not only was I automatically part, I had to help them. I really love to, I wanted to. One thing I really love doing talaga is acts of service. So in school, I do school projects as well. Ganon. And I guess the number one motivation for me is that you know the world is my playground. Like, I love having fun and playing around, traveling, going to the beach. But then it's really nakaka-heartbreak naman talaga when you go to these very wonderful areas tapos all you see is just all plastic, 'di ba? As a kid nga, like my cousins and I would have like this thing called yung plastic invaders because it was quite rare naman, like we'd see plastics flying around. And then now nasawa na rin kami kasi everywhere almost you go there's always plastic. So yun, that's my main motivation. Other than obviously it can help with my resume for school and for the future. Experience and mostly just giving to the community and like giving a positive effect towards our community is just my main motivation talaga.
Yes, so ang ganda no that you also get to start that habang bata pa kayo ni Yago, no. So, yeah, thank you for that, Benj. Siguro Miss Ana yung first na question ko, pwede bang magpaampon sa iyo? Joke. Joke lang. Hindi, pero yun, Miss Ana, no, ang ganda kasi nung nagko-compliment yung ginagawa ng Kaligiran, yung ginagawa niya sa CoOP. So basically nga parang ang Kaligiran ay isang sister organization ng CoOP from what I am understanding, no? Kasi parang yung ginagawa nila ay ginagawa nila. Very good na no? So sa akin naman, ang naisip ko ay total yung isang young or isang youth organization like Kaligiran ay na nagawa nila na makipag-partner with CoOP. Ano naman yung nagpa-decide sa iyo na okay makipag-partner sa mga kabataan rin as well. And yun nga na mag-welcome ka ng mga interns sa CoOP, no? At yun nga i-welcome mo ang youth group like Kaligiran.
Well, we need the youth to carry on what we're doing. So maybe because I'm a semi-control freak, and I have standards that I want to adhere to. So I had to train the kids. Sila na, di ba? Sila na mag-take over. Kasi I'm not gonna be young forever. I'm still young. So I'm not gonna be young forever. So I would like to do other things, move on to doing other things for the environment. See, at one point, what I'm looking at is that Yagu and Benj will take over Cleaner Oceans project, hopefully, with Miguel, my other son. Then Jamin, Lucio, Ashley will be doing other things also because they have other interests and advocacies as well, like fast fashion. So, if we could live forever, then fine, I can stay there. But since we don't, we need to pass the baton on to other people, diba? So the perfect people to pass it on, of course, are the people who grew up with me. They grew up with me. So and they're surrounded by pictures of the underwater environment. Yagu and Benj and Jamin also, we all free dove together. We all dived together. And I brought them intentionally to some areas na medyo maganda. Tapos nila ko sila doon sa hindi masyado maganda. So nakikita nila talaga yung stark difference. Like si Cindy at ako palagi na lang doon sa area doon sa Bawan. Pero pag napapunta kami medyo ng konting kanan pa, medyo, ay nako, iba na yung itsura niya. So they saw the devastation that plastic can do to the underwater environment. Without the underwater environment, hindi sila makakahinga. Diba? Hindi sila makakainin. Hindi sila magkakaroon ng tubig. So they need to do something to save the marine ecosystem.
Yes, ang ganda nun. ang ganda nun, Miss Ana, no, na una, force multiplier nga, yun yung nakukuha ko from what you were saying, no, force multiplier ang mga kabataan ngayon. Second, you are passing the baton for sustainability of the organization as well. And lastly, ang nakikita ko is, syempre, yun nga, sila rin naman ang magbe-benefit talaga end of day. Kaya maganda that our youth should take ownership on this as well. Tama, no, Cindy? Yes, I think nakamute ka pa ngayon, partner. Yes, partner. Yes,
Oh my
okay yung partner. Naliprid ko naman yung iba, wag ka mag-alala. Sige. Sige, Cindy.
Kaya nga nung sinabi ni Miss, naririnig niyo na po ba ako?
Yes.
Nararamdaman niyo na po ba ako? And kaya nga nung sinabi ni Miss Ana, no, we will not be here for a long period of time, so we need other people to continue the work that we have started. And that's really a good thing na sa youth natin ipapasa to. Sa mga youth na katulad natin, nakikatulad natin. Sa mga youth na katulad po nila.
Yes. Yes. Siguro, Miss Ana, punta naman tayo doon sa subject ng impact na nagawa na ng CoOP so far. So, ilang tonelado na ba ng plastic ang nakukuha nyo ngayong pandemic pa lang as compared to before the pandemic?
Before the pandemic, within 1 year, we're able to get 14 tons. Okay, 14 tons yan. More. A little over 14 tons. Tapos, during the 6-month, September, October, November, December. During the 4-month period na nakakollect kami during pandemic, we were able to collect about 2.5 tons. So, despite pandemic, talagang maraming may malasakit na sa dagat. Yeah, that's very hopeful. The amount of plastics that we collect every month is increasing, and that gives us motivation to keep it going.
Ganda naman nun, Miss Ana. Very, para sa akin, gusto ko rin na makasama ako personally. Kasi I think si Cindy nakakasama na sa inyo, di ba, sa inyong mga advocacy. Na sana kami rin mga kasama sa Bread Society International ay makabahagi rin sa advocacy ninyo sa CoOP. So sige, Cindy.
Definitely, yes.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Hindi lang din sa mga ka-bread natin. So, pati na rin sa mga nakikinig sa atin, nanonood sa atin, and other people na gustong maging part ng advocacy na ito. Hindi lang ito para sa atin, kundi para sa lahat. At mas maganda kung mas malaki yung impact na magagawa natin. Kasi imagine kung gano'n na karami yung taong na-influence natin, no? So mas malalasan natin yung problemang kinaharap natin, since para din naman to sa ating lahat, di ba?
Yes, agree, Cindy. So sige, I think we can go to our talk show proper. Sige, Cindy, ano ba?
Alright. So balik naman tayo kay Miss Jamin, no? Kay Mr. Santiago at kay Mr. Benj. So why do you need to reiterate the importance of recycling today now that we have pandemic? So medyo hindi masyadong casual yung tanong, no? So I repeat, why do you need to reiterate the importance of recycling today now that we have pandemic? So isa-isa po muna.
Kahit na sinong gusto mag-start.
Ms. Jamin, Mr. Benj, Mr. Santiago.
I believe that during the pandemic, it's really important to keep the thought of recycling in your mind, because one thing that I noticed while doing one of the Drop the Plastic events was that while we were sorting through the plastics and while we were looking through everything, one of the biggest contributors to the plastics that were being dropped off were Lazada, Shopee, and different online store packaging. So considering that a lot of us cannot go outside right now, a lot of the packaging that is used is plastic. And also because we're in our households, it's a lot easier to manage the plastic, or it's a lot easier for us to look around their house and just look at the plastic products that we have, because sometimes it will even surprise you how much there is. Like, I remember I would just while doing the drop the plastics, I would notice how much people are buying sodas and buying Tetra Packs and things like that, and realizing that we could use alternative products and having that in mind would actually be very helpful to our environment and just having that peace of mind about plastics and things like that. So,
Yes, oo nga. Sobrang totoo yun. At tamaan naman ang dapat tamaan ng mga suki ng 11-11, 12-12 ng Shopee at Lazada dyan. Kasi syempre,
Pwede mag-sorry.
oh, ako rin guilty rin ako dyan. Huwag ka mag-alala, Cindy.
Actually, hindi. Online seller
Sorry, Yagu.
din ako. Online seller din ako, Miss Ana. Pero ginagamit ko po kasi sa packaging ko, especially pag Grab Express yung pinipili nila. Meron na akong brown corrugated box. So doon ko nilalagay yung reusable face mask or yung mga earrings na binibili nila. And doon naman sa pagdating naman sa mga couriers, kung hindi sila papayag na hindi plastic yung gamitin, ginagamit ko yung brown corrugated packaging ko. Pero nilalagyan pa rin nila ng tape. Kahit lagyan ko na ng sticker, nilalagyan pa rin talaga nila ng tape.
Hirap, no?
Medyo mahirap yung part nga na yun. Pero it's one way kasi instead na makadagdag tayo, di ba, nakakabawas naman ng very, very light.
Yun nga, at least, di ba, nabawasan ka rin, Cindy. Oh, well, okay lang. Naiintindihan ka namin lahat, Cindy. Pero yun nga kasi yung iba, di ba, makabili lang 10 pesos na kung ano man, tapos ang laki ng plastic packaging. Di ba, ganun sa Shopee? Free delivery pa. Kaya iniisa-isa mo pa, di ba?
May option naman, actually. Yung iba may option yung courier. So, pwede mo piliin doon yung halimbawa own packaging. So pag own packaging nila, pwedeng yung gamitin nila yung mga papel-papel, ganyan.
Yun nga no?
So we were talking about sana Shopee, Lazada, and all those online stores would give an option for their clients to choose what kind of packaging they can use. Oo. Hindi yung iiwan na lang dun sa courier service. Kasi sa courier service, syempre, the more plastics there, the safer they feel that the package is going to get there. Oh, tapos, syempre, napapamahal ng konti. So, that goes, that's also profit for them. So, basically, if we write Shopee, Lazada, and all these online shops to create an option for the seller and the buyer to have their own packaging, that would really be helpful. Because like 2019, I think, within the hour of the 11-11, there were already like millions of purchases within the hour. So imagine all that plastics that came with all those purchases, di ba?
Totoo yun. Kaya nga ang maganda naman dito, at least yung ibang mga e-commerce companies, like for example, Grab is somewhat nagiging e-commerce na because of food, no? Na they are giving options to their customers na, for example, wag na cutleries na plastic, for example, if gusto nung customer nila na wag nang gumamit ng ganun. Siguro yun nga, no? It's one thing na maganda ring magawa natin is to be able to engage those companies, Lazada, Shopee, on how they can be more sustainable.
That's right. And also to be transparent with their numbers on how much plastic they have utilized in order to give their services.
Oo nga, pero parang ang hirap nun, no? Yung transparency, no? It's a work that should be done, but it's a hard work.
then tell us also, tell their clients, okay, since because your product has so much plastic packaging, you have the option to drop it at Drop the Plastic. Something like that. Diba?
Yeah, yun nga eh. Again, papasok tayo doon. Oo, papasok tayo sa pagiging realistic at practical ng solution na meron ng CoOP. Sige, Cindy, ano bang meron tayo dyan para sa ating mga speakers? Yes, meron. I think meron tayong questions mula sa ating audience, right, Cindy?
Yes. For all our speakers, kahit sino po yung pwedeng sumagot sa inyo. So meron po tayong question ngayon galing po sa ating mga viewers. Malaki raw po ba ang epekto ng plastic straw sa marine life? So kahit sino po pwedeng sumagot?
Yes.
Let the kids do it.
Actually, laging paulit-ulit yung tanong na yun, no?
For plastic
yung plastic straw na yun, kong naririnig yan. And it's a very common issue to us, but to others, hindi pa rin nila maintindihan kung bakit. And even though na alam na nga nila na masama yun, ginagamit pa rin nila. So gusto ko naman ngayon marinig from our speakers naman on telling us about the effects of this plastic straw that we are using most of our life.
Yes, I think Sandy Benj has something to say.
Okay. So, totoo nga naman, plastic
sige
straws,
po.
they have really big effects
Benefits.
on our environment. But it also has really good benefits, right? Now, taking it all out, although marami natanggal nating plastic usage, napalitan naman din with, like, let's say, metal straws. Now, which might be a good thing also, but, like, the carbon emissions it wasn't even talk about it yet, of like how to create, the carbon emission of creating metal straws. It's way more than just creating, like, let's say, 10 batches of straws. Now, as for effects, okay, plastic is, it's needed, diba? Wala kang plastic straws, pero yung mismong cup mo, plastic. Everything else dun, plastic. Diba? Magte-take out kayo, paper cup maybe, pero plastic pa rin yung lid, plastic yung pangkain.
Plastic lined yung pang take out.
Yeah. Like it's parang, although it's malaki yung impact, it's mostly just used as a marketing strategy. Para lang din, maengganyo kayo kumain doon sa kanila. Uy, hindi na sila gumagamit ng straw. Diba? Mabuti yung mga gusto nitong kumpanya na to. Pero plastic pa rin halos lahat. So, it's up to you na rin to view whether or not it's a good impact. But hopefully sana, it would be just more than plastics. Diba? It's not just plastic straws. So yeah.
Yeah, I think yes.
Basically, I think what Benj is saying is that we shouldn't be focusing merely solely on plastic straws. One plastic straw will not really affect the marine environment, but plastic is not really the problem. Sometimes I think about its population. So how many straws gets into the marine environment? Isa, okay lang. Pero kung 3 million na, ibang usapan na yan. Diba? Yeah. How does it affect the marine environment? Well, just imagine that you're in your house and then 3 million plastic straws enter your room. What will that do to you? You won't be able to breathe. You won't be able to eat. There's no water for you to swim in, whatever, because it's invaded your home. So that is a plastic invasion. That is the impact of plastics. We cannot just focus on one product specifically. Why? Because like what Ben said, a lot of other things are made of plastic. The impact of a plastic straw is actually very minimal when you make it compared to a metal straw. The carbon emissions, like you said, the destruction of the mountains, the destruction of trees, that's all required to make a metal straw. A plastic straw, you can send back to a recycler and they will use it again without mining, without destroying the trees, without destroying the mountains.
Ang ganda ng points ninyo, Benj and Miss Anna, no? From Benj kasi ang nakukuha ko is not only on putting the weight on the seller, but also putting the weight on the consumer, on supporting yung mga shops that support sustainability and supports the environment through their practices. Linked to what you have said also, Miss Anna, na hindi lang naman plastic straws ang problema. Like, yun nga, kung metal straw nga, ako kasi, guilty ako doon kasi initially, I think maiisip mo, bumili akong metal straw, environment friendly na ako. But no, hindi natin nakikita yung overall na impact niya, di ba? Na baka iniisip mo, oo nga, recyclable nga ito. Tapos kakainom mo sa kung saan man, naiiwanan mo palagi. Bili ka ng bili. Di ganun rin yun. Hindi lang ganun, di ba? Ang ganda nga ng point mo, Miss Anna, na at least yung plastic marirecycle mo. Paano itong sa sa metal straw?
Reusable nga siya. Reusable nga siya, ang impact naman ganun mas malaki pa rin. Lalo na glass straws have a very high impact on the environment compared to plastics. Manufacturing glass, sakit yan sa environment. So what do we kasi nangyayari kasi niyan, like what Benj said, it's marketing. It's
Yeah.
marketing. So people will say, come here to our store because we don't have plastic straws, but everything else is plastic. Hello. If you're going to be genuine, if you're going to say you're eco-sustainable or whatnot, don't just limit yourself to one item. Don't just limit yourself to the straw. Go for it.
Yeah.
Diba? Be genuine. Tapos isa pa, kasi ang nangyayari niyan, yung mga tao, iniisip nila, porke yun na nga, nag-metal straw na sila, okay na sila. Diba? Hindi lang yun eh. You have to take a very good, hard look at your lifestyle. What am I doing? How much is this costing the environment to have my aircon on? Diba?
True.
How much is it costing the environment for me to store my pictures online? Malaking impact yan. Grabe. Yung ginagamit, lahat ng mga storage natin sa Facebook, malaking impact yan. So for me, what I'm thinking, guilty pa minsan. For what I'm thinking is that we have to find ways in order to really lessen the impact there on the environment. So let's not focus on the singular straw. Poor straw.
siguro Miss Ana, no, linked to that, no, may tanong kasi from our audience na kung hindi tayo magfo-focus sa straw at hindi tayo magfo-focus sa straw kasi I think yun yung isang mainstream dahil sa nakita nilang turtle na may straw sa ilong. Ano ba ang worst enemy talaga ng ating marine life today?
Tao.
Very pang-beauty queen po yung question, Miss Ana.
Ay,
very striking yung sagot mo, Miss Ana, tao. Oo nga naman. And you...
Alam mo kung bakit ko because you know why? You mentioned it, no, that I did work for WWF and UNTV. What was the work that I did? The work that I did for them was to document marine protected areas where human activity was regulated. No diving, no swimming, no snorkeling, nothing, no fishing. And what happened? The underwater environment was beautiful. It was vibrant with life. It was lush with life. Kaya, ang feeling ko talaga, ang kalaban ng environment ay tao. Kaso nga lang, ang dami natin. How many people are already living in the planet Earth? Di ba? Ayan. Exactly. Sino ba naglagay dyan? Di ba tao?
Yeah.
Di ba? Who creates all this garbage? Di ba tao? Who created plastic?
Po na cancer, no?
Tao. Cancer ng lipunan. Oh my God.
Oo, di ba? So tayo pala ang
tayo ang problema.
Drop the human na ba yung next? Joke lang. Pero yung
human behavior. So we really have to change human behavior. Yun. That's why nga our main focus sa CoOP is not to demand corporations to stop making plastics. It's not to demand people to stop using plastic. It's to make people change their behavior. Make them start having a new relationship with their consumer behavior. Ibahin nila yung you have to turn that switch on. So you have to realize too, like how much is this, like this phone, how much should it cost me, the environment to make this phone? Yung ganon. So yung iba kasi, di ba, kada bagong telepono, bagong release ng iPhone, bili ka agad.
Oo.
Di ba? Oo, di ba? Kasi yung mga ganyan, yun. So, we cannot change the world overnight. We have to do it one person at a time, changing little things, taking mini steps. Because before you know it, like kami, at one point, I stopped using shampoo, bottled shampoo. Then I started using shampoo bars. Mamayang konti, pati deodorant ko, ako na gumagawa. Mamayang konti, ganyan. It just starts trickling down. It starts multiplying. So when we start with one practice, it will multiply into several other practices. So yun. So we don't buy as much soda as we used to. We don't buy as much ramen as we used to. Yung ganyan. Yun. Nakakagulat, pati corned beef ngayon, naka-plastic.
Yun nga, di ba? Nakasashay na ngayon ng Pure Foods.
Sashay? Oo, gulat. Pero okay na rin yun kasi ang metal kasi naman, yung metal cans naman talaga, mahirap talaga rin yun. The impact to make a metal can is greater than making a sachet.
Yes, all right. Sige, Miss Ana, no, yung ang ganda ng perspective on starting from one practice, then basically magko-continue yan eh. And I really think na maganda rin for us to relate that sa ating mga kabataan on how we can train them and start them from that practice para mag-grow sila to that, no? So para sa iyo ba, bakit ngayon yung best time para pag-usapan natin ng recycling at ang pag-involve ng mga kabataan on recycling?
This is the best time because we're in pandemic. One, they have not much to do. They're not going to school. They stay home. So you have to give them something else to do. That's one. So it's the best time. They cannot say, nah, I'm going out and hang out with my friends. So that's one. Then secondly, why is it the best time? Because yesterday, a decade ago, was the best time probably. Actually it's not a decade ago. During the 1960s was the best time to talk about recycling. Because over the last 50 years, that's when the growth of plastic use really climbed up to a staggering point. So dapat 50 years ago pa natin pinag-usapan ng recycling. We're already late. And then third, the reason why we need the youth is because they're going to inherit it. I want to leave a beautiful ocean to my sons, to both Miguel and Jamin, for them to dive in. I want them to see and experience the vibrant colors of marine life underwater. Because right now, with the way we're going, there will be more plastics than fish in the ocean. Di ba, Cindy? Palaging anthem na natin yan eh. There will be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2025 yata ba yun? Yun. So I don't want that kind of world for my children. And at one point, I'm going to get tired and old. So they have to take over.
Yeah, very noble. Very noble indeed, Miss Anna. Siguro ngayon, Miss Anna. Yes?
I cannot agree more with Miss Anna was said, no? Imagine, ngayon pa lang, kasi since we are diving and we see what's under the ocean, imagine, ngayon, nakakakita na tayo ng ilang perasong plastic. How much more pagdating ng 2025, ng 2050, di ba? Baka wala nang isda tayong makita, baka puro plastic na yung palutang-lutang sa ilalim ng And ayoko sanang mangyari yun. Really,
naiyak na si Cindy. Parang nakikita ko, naiyak siya.
Emotional ko na partner. Ramdam kita. Oo, kasi
at saka pag nagda-dive po tayo, Miss Anna, di ba? Katulad nga po nung sabi niyo last time, wag nang kumuha ng mga diapers. Ako before, kahit diapers, kinukuha ko yan, tapos nilalagay ko sa mini pouch ko kasi I couldn't take to see it underwater na nandun siya, di ba? Tapos nakatapal siya dun in front ng beautiful brain coral. Imagine how long it takes para mabuo yung isang brain coral, di ba? Tapos nandun siya. And then nakita mo na umiiba na yung kulay niya sa gilid, di ba? So, the only thing that's on my mind on the time is to remove it from that. Pero sabi nga ni Miss Anna during our dives na daw yun, biomass daw yun. So dapat daw wag nang kukunin pag yung mga diapers or mga something na ginamit ng tao kasi pwede daw yun malipat sa atin. Diba, Miss Anna, nag-take note ako dun sa sinabi mo.
Buti na lang. Because pwede ka magkasakit. Tapos pag magkasakit ka, nabawasan pa tayo ng marine loving ocean person.
Yes.
We need you. We need as many people to love the ocean the way we do. So if you get sick because of your collecting,
At ang maganda nga doon is magkakaibang field din po tayo, no? Kasi kung halimbawa lahat ng conservation community nasa school na, yung lahat nasa community na, wala nang magta-top up doon sa ibang organizations daw po, no? Correct. So napakahirap on my side naman. Pero it's a long way. Baby steps.
Yeah. Ang ganda ng discussion ninyo, Miss Anna. Ang ganda ng discussion ninyo actually, Miss Anna and Sendino. Considering na hindi yan na-realize ng ating lalo na ng ating mga kabataan na ganyan yung nagiging impact noong mga carelessness natin at ng mga bagay na nagagawa natin here in the surface. Kaya siguro yon, I think ito na yung best time, Miss Anna, that we get to have an activity. Ang guilty or not guilty activity natin para malaman naman natin. Baka naman matutuwid at malilinis ang ating audience. At hindi pa nakapagtapon sa tanang buhay nila ng kahit na anong basura kung saan man. So we will be playing a guilty or not guilty game. So please go to menti.com and please enter the code 8541-6246 para makasali kayo sa ating quick na game. Again, hindi naman namin kayo uusigin after nito kapag ang sinagot niyo ay puro yes sa ating mga tanong. It's more on us just looking at the reality at kung ano ba talaga ang status natin ngayon. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Again, anonymous ito para sa inyo. And once you are in Menti, pipiliin mo lang kung ikaw ba ay guilty or not guilty sa mga situations na nandoon. So, ibig sabihin, once in your life, kahit na isang beses sa buhay mo, nagawa mo na or ginawa mo na yung statement na nasa screen or yun nga, kung not guilty naman ang pipiliin mo, never mo pa talaga siya nagaginawa. Pero yun, please be honest, mga kasambahay, mga kabred, hindi ito para magsisihan tayo. It's more on us knowing kung ano ba talaga ang reality natin now. So yan, meron tayo actually 2,204 attendees ngayon, Cindy. So we expect kung ano ba ang pulso ng bayan sa iba't iba nating mga circumstances na nasa guilty or not guilty game natin. Di ba, Cindy?
So, Verge, habang hinihintay natin sila, may trivia lang din ako. According to the Odyssey, more than 1 million seabirds die every year after choking on a plastic straw that they mistook for food. So imagine, no, ganun karami na seabirds na yung namatay natin kasi na-ingest nila yung mga plastics na ito sa sikmura nila. And then nung inopen yun ng mga scientists, nakita nila ganun pala yung impact. So hindi lang sa mga marine animals, even to the seabirds. And how much more, no, na sa ibang animals pa natin, not just in the marine animals, yung effect ng plastic, not just plastic straw, but other plastic, microplastics that they ingested. So, ayun na nga, Verge. So, it's our time na to read our questions para sa ating mga viewers.
Yes, sige. I think we can already start na ba?
Guilty or not guilty game.
Oo, sa ating guilty or not guilty. I think, yeah, we can already start. Tapos mamaya, tingnan natin kung ano ba ang pulso ng bayan sa ating questions. Let's start. Siguro, Cindy, can you start with question number 1?
Question number 1. Nagtapon ng candy wrapper sa kalsada noong walang nakatingin.
Ay, gusto ko yung biglang not guilty yung ano. Ayan, humahabol ang guilty, mga kaibigan.
Tapos may stop, diba? May stop na.
Oo. Diba? Ako hindi iniisip ko. Kasi ako naman, guilty ako dyan. May time talaga yung nakakatawa, yung iisipin mo pa talaga gaganong ka. Alam mo, tapos gaganong ka.
Pero sandali, Verge, kailangan sila yung sumagot.
Wala, nire-relate ko lang. Baka kasi isipin nila, hindi tayo mga masyado tayong matuwid kahit na nung hindi po, mga kasama, mga kabred. Katulad
pero
nyo
sige,
rin po.
Sa akin din yung realization niya. Sa amin ko.
Oo, yun nga. Nasa atin yun. No? Kaya wag naman kayo masyado.
Kaya bawal magtapon sa kalsada, hulihin ka.
Oo, yun nga. Alam mo ba, kinabahan lang talaga ako dito. Nung naalala ko kasi meron ng fine, di ba? Totoo lang, lalo na nung bata-bata ako. Kasi di ba nagbigay, basta may ganong regulation, na may fine kapag nagtapon ka basta-basta kung saan-saan. Doon lang ako kinabahan. Pero before that, wala. Talaga. Oo, tapos, ewan ko nga, lilinga-linga ka pa yung gaganong-ganong ka, tapos siya kami itatapon yung
Sakin ako, honestly, pagdating ko dito sa Manila, na-culture shock ako na nakita ko yung mga tao nagtatapon sa kalsada. Kasi sa amin sa Palawan, especially Puerto Princesa, pag nahuli ka talaga, kulong ka or magmumulta ka. So, syempre, wala ka na nga pera, magmumulta ka pa, so huwag ka magtatapon. Tapos pag may nakita kami, halimbawa, bisita, turista na magtatapon ng kalat, lalapitan namin, sasabihan namin, normal citizen, pwede namin ipakulong yung kung sino man yung nagtapon or pwede namin singilin ng fine. So, ganun siya. So, pagdating ko dito, na-culture shock ako na parang, ay gano'n, nagtatapon na lang ng basura, basta-basta. So, yun nga yung sinabi ni Miss Ana kanina na behavioral change na naumpisa yun nung bata ka pa hanggang paglaki mo. Okay, number 2. Iayaang bukas ang gripo kahit naghihilamos pa.
Ayan.
So, guilty ka ba dahil hinayaan mong bukas ang gripo kahit naghihilamos ka pa?
Ayan, tinan mo ang guilty. Cindy, ayan,
Guilty
nangungulang
or
guilty.
not guilty?
Kasi di ba kahit nga hindi lang sa paghihilamos, kahit sa pagtutoothbrush, di ba lagi tayong nasasabihan dyan na, hello, gipin mo naman yung ginagano mo, ano naman, ano naman significance nung gripo na bukas, di ba, habang inaano mo yung ngipin mo? Di ba?
Gumamit ng baso.
Ayun pa, di ba?
Baso naman eh.
Pwede naman gumamit ng baso. Pero yun nga, anong baso ang ginamit? Yun yung third question. Joke lang. Hindi, pero yan. Ayun majority rin talaga sa ating mga kasama guilty. Pero yun again baka kasi ang naisip nyo, etong recent times lang, sa buong buhay ninyo, mga kasambahay, mga kabred, never nyo pa talaga. Oh, tama yan, Cindy. Pero yun, never nyo pa talagang naiwang bukas ang gripo nyo, di ba? Yun, pero yun mukhang guilty pa rin. Ang ating, sige. Gusto mo ba? Sige, ako na magpunta sa third question natin, no? Ang third question naman natin, Cindy, ay nagtapon ng basura sa maling uri ng basurahan. Yung, for example, may nakita ka, merong segregation. Tapos may segregation, pero yung basurahan na nasa gitna, para sa hindi nabubulok, nawawala. Kailangan mo nang magtapon nung nabubulok. Ay, nung hindi nabubulok, tapos nakita mo ang nandun lang yung nabubulok na ano. Sumimple ka.
Or basta nakita mong basurahan lang yun, doon ka na lang nagtapon.
Oo, di ba? Wala man lang
Wala color coding.
Oo, di ba? Parang, sige. Ganun na lang. Di ba? Parang, kasi yung iba, baka iniisip nila, oy, ligtas na ako sa number 1. Hindi ako nagtapon ng basura sa kalsada.
Ang dami ng guilty.
Oo, pero yun nga, hindi ka nga nagtapon ng basura sa kalsada basta-basta. Nagtapon ka naman sa maling basurahan. Medyo ganun rin. Oo, di ba? Kaya di ba? Kaya very very relevant sa atin 'yon, mga kasambahay, mga kabire, dahil yun nga, baka akala natin ginagawa pa rin natin yung part natin sa pagtatapon, pero mali naman yung paraan natin. Wala rin yung effect, mga kabire, no, mga kasambahay. Sige. Siguro Cindy, we can also involve ang ating mga speakers. Mukha namang yung nagsushine kung ano talaga ang pulso ng bayan for all of those three questions. Siguro gusto rin nating hinga ng insights ang ating mga speakers, si Jamin, si Benj, si Yago, and si Miss Ana on that, no? Yes, nandiyan.
Let the kids go ahead.
Yes. Sige, Jamin.
Okay. So, hello po.
Yes.
So, I'm going to talk about the roles of Gen Z in protecting our ocean and environment. Now, before I start, I'd like to ask all of you Gen Zs or yung mga iba din, an interesting question. Have you ever seen Manila Bay as not being polluted at all? No, diba? Parang hindi natin ma-imagine. Well, I was quite amazed and disappointed when I realized this myself. And so I even asked my parents this question. And pati sila, sabi nila, they can't recall the time when Manila Bay was not polluted. So I also asked my grandparents, who are now in their 70s, if Manila Bay was polluted during their time. And they answered, no. It was clean.
Yes. I think we're just having a technical difficulty with Jamin, no? Pero ang ganda nung niya, Cindy, no? Ang ganda nung entrance niya doon sa magagawa ng youth. Kasi primarily nga ang audience natin ngayon ay mga kabataan, no? At nakita nga natin, a lot of them were guilty of the circumstances na nilagay natin sa ating mga questions sa ating game. At yun, I think, no, yung ino-open ni Jamin on not seeing Manila Bay clean sa ako rin parang para sa akin lagi yon na parang kwento na lang ng matatanda na parang uy sa Manila Bay no nagsiswimming pa yung ganun ganyan. Hindi ko ma-imagine parang kasi kasi there was a time rin, Cindy, na naging active ako on dragon boating. At doon kami sa may CCP. At ang bango talaga. Ang bango talaga ng ano. Tapos makikita natin nagsiswimming yung mga tao before. Hindi ko talaga yun ma-imagine na ano, no? And I think very relevant na na-open up sa atin. Oo, di ba? Pero yun, na-open sa atin ni Jamin yun eh. And again, yun nga, no, Cindy, no, yung in terms of the goal ng ating webinar, ano ba yung isa sa mga goals natin, Cindy, rin on this concerning the youth?
In fact, yung goal nga natin dito sa webinar na ito, after this is hopefully hindi na tayo guilty sa mga statement na yon dahil bilang youth meron tayong magagawa.
So yun nga, oo, yun ang i-open up sa atin, hindi lang ni Jamin, kundi ni Benj and ni Iago. Siguro, can we check if they are already with us? Hello, Jamin?
Hello, Jamin.
Yes. I think, ayun, sige, ikaw na lang siguro, Cindy, no? As someone who is very exposed rin, bilang part ng The Dive, no? Para sa iyo naman, how do you see na ma-involve ang mga kabataan on something like this?
Alam mo, sa amin talaga, yun yung pinaka-goal namin eh. Kasi mas madaling ma-influence yung youth pagdating sa conservation, pagdating sa cause na napakahalaga sa atin kasi sila yung passionate, sila yung eager, sila yung wanted to do change the society, change the environment, sila yung talagang in-depth pagdating sa mga activities na magagawa nila. Pagdating naman sa mga taong mas nakakatanda na minsan kasi wala na silang time, meron na silang mga kanya-kanyang buhay, trabaho, or may pamilya na sila. Pero yung youth natin, sila yung open. Sila yung open for the cause at sila din yung magre-relay sa kanilang mga magulang, sa kanilang mga kapitbahay, sa mga nakakatanda sa kanila. And for example sa akin bilang youth na rin, so nakiki-youth. sa father ko, kasi when he learned that, kasi ayaw niya ako pasalihin ng beauty pageant kasi growing up from a Christian family, ayaw din ng tatay ko na nagsuswimsuit, yun ang trip kong gawin. So I joined an international beauty contest named Miss Scuba International at yung isa sa goal din nun is marine conservation aside from the different causes na pinaglalaban ng grupo. So pinaka-big yung marine conservation at naging malaking impact din yun sa akin kasi that time wala akong idea eh. Though I have this idea kasi bata pa lang ako, nakatira na ako sa tabing dagat, alam ko na yung mga ganyan, mahilig talaga ako. And normal sa amin bilang environment conscious people na taga Puerto Princesa. So nung nalaman ng tatay ko na nanalo ako sa international beauty contest, so naging proud na rin siya. So tinanggap niya na rin yung pagsali ng beauty contest na para sabi niya, ay, nakaka-proud naman yung anak ko. Tingnan mo, naglilinis ng dagat, ganito pala ganun. Dapat pala sinuportahan ko siya noon pa lang. Tapos ganito pala karaming tao yung sumusuporta sa kanya kasi pinanood ko siya noon that time sa Malaysia. So yung naging impact nun sa tatay ko, nakikita ko na siya. Kami nga dati anak, nung nangingisda kami, pinapatay lang namin yung manta ray. Hindi ko alam na isa lang palang pop yung pinanganganak nun sa isang tapos matagal yung mating nila, tapos napakahirap pala nun anak, pinapatay lang ng mga kasama ko dati. So nakaka-create yun ng consciousness sa tatay ko. Sabi niya, dapat pala anak, nung ginagawa namin yun, pinapangalagaan pala namin, maganda yan, ito, sasabihin ko yan sa mga kasama ko. Tapos I've heard him in one of his speaking engagements sa church na naikwento ng tatay ko na ibahagi niya yun yung ginagawa ko, and maraming tao yung nakinig. Tapos nakita ko rin when it comes to changes or impact nun sa mga tao, pinag-uusapan nila palagi. And the more na pinag-uusapan nila yun, alam mong may difference na na-create sa buhay nila. Though hindi mo nakita personally na talagang may action na nagawa. Pero that time, influencing pa lang these people can really create na. So yun yung importanteng bagay na nagagawa ng youth. Kasi yung influence nila malaki. And knowing na yung youth natin is more on social media, di ba? So sino ba yung masipag mag-tweet? Sino ba yung masipag mag-post sa social media about these things? Di ba youth? So talagang napakalaki nung part na nagagawa nila when it comes to conservation, when it comes to this cause that is very, very important and very timely sa panahon natin ngayon. episode.
Yes.
Ang dami ko nang nasabi.
Oo, di ba? hindi Cindy, no, napaka-relevant niyan considering na yun nga, no, I think nandiyan na rin, nakabalik na rin si Jamin, no, to discuss pa rin kung ano ba ang magagawa ng youth. And ang ganda nga nung nasimulan mo yun, Cindy, ng ganon na ikaw as someone who was made aware of that at an early age, no, nakagawa ka ng impact by sharing your awareness sa iyong mga magulang, and of course, naging force multiplier sila to the community. Yun naman, ang gusto natin din siguro maparealize through Jamin kung paano natin magagawa bilang mga kabataan na ikaw kasi, Cindy, di ba, tinapangan mo lang rin naman talaga for you to do yung first step mo, no? So, paano pwedeng tapangan rin ng ating mga kabataan na may masasabi tayo. Pero may masasabi tayo sa ating mga magulang at sa ating mga communities at papakinggan nila tayo. So sige, Jamin, please.
Yes, hello po. Sorry. So balik tayo sa question ko na have you ever seen Manila Bay as not being polluted at all? And syempre, I think if not all, but all of us youths would say no, diba? And I was quite amazed and disappointed when I realized this myself. And so I asked my parents this question, and even they said they couldn't recall a time when Manila Bay was not polluted at all. However, when I asked my grandparents naman, who are now in their 70s, if Manila Bay was polluted during their time, they said no, it was super clean now and beautiful, and they would even swim there during the weekends. And immediately, of course, I went, how unfair naman, no? Like, can you imagine swimming at Manila Bay now? If we try to swim there, next thing you know, there's plastic and dirt all over your face. And parang trying to go to the shore of Manila Bay pa lang, we're already covering our noses because of the smell of the trash in it, right? And so you guys might wonder why I brought this question up. And well, it's to make my point that we Gen Zs grew up with the climate crisis and we grew up seeing it all around us. And clearly, this has affected how we view the world now. And yeah, as compared to other generations before us, especially yung mga nasa, as Tita Ana said a while ago, 1960s and before that. So backstory, my fondest memory, childhood memory, are by the sea, because we'd go there almost every week. And there was just something special about swimming and discovering the beautiful, mysterious underwater world. And I think I can say that all of us have seen the ocean at one point too. But sadly, we take the ocean for granted, putting our garbage in it and forgetting that literally 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by it. And we forget that the ocean and land are tightly interconnected. Everything that we do on land has obviously a direct global and cascading impact on the ocean. And whatever happens in the oceans affects the entire planet as a whole. And now, more than ever, especially during the pandemic, marine ecosystems are at their most vulnerable state as we continue to overexploit it and pollute it. And yes, I'm guilty, and we all are. So sad as it is, part of that childhood memory of mine, and maybe yours as well, are the plastics and trash scattered all over the ocean and shores. And this realization made me want to do something about the issue. So way before, even prior to the pandemic and the devastating wildfires that were going around in 2020, a study showed that 4 out of 10 individuals identify. Am I lost? Hello po.
Yes, rinig ka pa rin namin, Jamin. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Where was I? 4 out of 10 youth individuals identify climate change as one of the most significant issues facing the planet. And nearly 9 in 10, so that's 87% of Gen Zers are worried for the environment and are actually driven to make a change. So we see that our generation is uniquely positioned in part we're worried about the environment, because for many, we cannot even recall a time when the climate crisis was not really a topic of discussion at all. So at the end, we're all just kind of aware of it, like we're aware of the climate crisis. However, the problem is that even if almost, if not all of us are aware of these environmental issues, not everyone does anything about it nor do we act on it. So usually a lot of people are aware of it, but it is not talked about enough as being something that affects us and other species as well, and something where you can take action on. So basically, we don't fully understand it, and we don't know its detrimental effects on the environment. So because of this, I think we need to start the conversation of the climate crisis, and we need to start a conversation on taking action on it, because obviously it's an issue that will affect not only us and the future generations after us, but other species as well who coexist in this planet. So there, we know nga that we are not going to have a future if the planet is destroyed, but for some reason, we still continue to damage it. But you all should also know that we can change that. We can change our behaviors and we can do something about it. So even up against increasingly insurmountable and urgent environmental problems, especially to our oceans, we youth people and other generations as well should remain hopeful. We, along with other generations, the government, and the big corporations out there, need to start caring and taking action before it's too late. Because yes, it's late already, but it's not too late. We can still do something about it. And we need to encourage each other to show empathy towards the planet so that we can all collectively strive for one that is flourishing and not polluted. And yeah, we know we are guilty of being polluters, so we should act on it, obviously. We can reduce our consumption of plastic, do volunteer work, and think of other innovative and sustainable alternatives. But I think one of the true powers of our generation, of the youth, is our availability of the internet and social media, as we were talking about a while ago. As digital natives, we can use social media, especially now during the pandemic, not only to educate ourselves on environmental issues, but to make a meaningful difference as well. So social media can actually drive change if used the right way, such as advocating and sharing information on environmental issues, emphasizing the importance of the environment's biodiversity, or even having like peaceful online protests in a way by posting stories or changing your DPs. Now, fun fact, despite being the largest demographic in the world, and the most at risk actually, youth commonly have the smallest voice when it comes to engagement. But young people need to actively start driving change, because after all, the world we will all inherit is shaped by the actions and decisions of today. So because of that, I say let's beat apathy. And most of us may think our individual action is small or insignificant, yet studies show that if 10%, at least 10% of any population holds a belief that we can make a change, it will spread like wildfire. It only takes the enthusiasm of a small group to turn the tide. And we all may be young, but we are powerful as well. When properly channeled, our voices and actions are strong enough to make ripples from a local to an international level. So we can combine our willpower, our passion, our enthusiasm to speak up for our shared future, using our collective power to ultimately influence the decisions being made today. And now, I tell you, we at Kaligiran were super doubtful at first because we were just 3 high school students in a very, very small school. But we remained hopeful for our future and we stuck to our goals. And so far, we have done educational community events in schools. We have done eco-brick initiatives. We did social media advocacies. And we also did the upcycling initiative to drop the plastic with CoOP, with Tita Ana. And so you can do something if you just put your mind and your heart to it, and we all can make a difference. And we should know that every little step does count, even if it's not evident at times. So yeah, before I end, I just like to leave you guys with a call to action sort of thing. And that is for us to all have the power in us to act, speak out, and come together for the better of our planet. And this planet is our home after all, and it will only remain a healthy and beautiful place if we all take steps to foster conservation and environmental concern in those around us. So we should take the time to make a difference and be conscious and mindful of the choices we make today, knowing that they do have an impact on all of us and the other organisms that call this planet home. And so I'd like to say, let us change our behavior and start a conversation on conservation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Jamin. No? Very very timely rin sa ating mga kabataan na yun nga yun nga katulad ng sinasabi ko rin kanina, no. Yun lang na ma-realize natin na katulad ng sinabi mo, we might be we might be the youth might be the biggest in terms of demographics, in terms of number, no. Pero kahit na ganun, usually on policy making, yung ating mga kabataan are not being heard of. So maganda that we get to use the means that are available to us. Might it be social media, or might it be yun nga yung pag-mobilize sa atin sa ground through different initiatives like yung initiatives na ginagawa ng CoOP ngayon. Basically yun nga, katulad ng sinabi mo, let's start the conversation at may magagawa tayo. So again, thank you very much for that, Jamin. Siguro, Cindy, before we go doon sa next part natin, I just want to also give an update sa ating mga kasambahay at sa ating mga kabred kung ilan na ang ating total audience count for today. So at Facebook, we have 212 participants. At YouTube, we have 371 participants. And at Zoom, we have a whopping 1,740 participants. And Google Meet, we have 14. To a total of 2,337 participants as of 2 p.m. Yon, salamat! Salamat sa inyo mga kabred, mga kasambahay for supporting. And I know marami kayong nakuha sa discussion or sa mga sinabi sa atin ni Jamin. And I know, Cindy, sa ating next speaker, marami pa silang makukuha, right?
Yes, I cannot agree more with Miss Jamin. At nakakatuwa nga naman na yung mga youth natin speaking up about this important causes. It makes me really feel proud, no? So, nakita naman natin na Miss Jamin discovered the power of roles of the youth. Mahalaga na pag alam mo yung power mo or role mo, alam mo kung paano mo siya gagamitin. Ngayon, let's ask naman Mr. Benj, ano ba yung kanyang mga na-experience or involvement niya sa marine conservation efforts? Mr. Benj?
Yes.
Naririnig ba ako?
Oo, naririnig ka namin siya.
Ako. So gusto ko naman marinig kay Mr. Benj kung ano ba yung kanyang na-experience or yung involvement niya sa mga marine conservation efforts.
Yun nga I'm not sure kung ano, no. I think we're having technical difficulties lang with our speakers, no. Pero ako naman, ang naisip ko rin dyan, Cindy,
malinaw naman ako.
Ikaw okay ka naman. Yes, okay ka naman. I think yung mga speakers lang natin now, they are having technical difficulty. Pero yun nga, no, ako kasi personally, ang naiisip ko on that, no, yung perspective ko ay someone na lumaki sa city. Yung katulad, ang ganda nga nung difference nung experience natin. Cindy, yung sa'yo na lumaki ka malapit sa tabing dagat, that you were able to relate na, eto importante na pangalagaan ko to. Pero yung sa akin naman, as someone who lived in the city, actually hindi ko na-realize yung maraming bagay that you were all telling us right now, no? And I think it's something na mababaon ng ating
mga policies nakalagay sa local government.
Yes, oo, yun nga And kung kunwari nga sa atin, ngayon nasa Metro Manila ka rin, sa ating mga nasa Metro Manila, hindi naman natin nakikita yun Ang nakikita lang natin yun, wag tayo magtapon ng basura and it ends there. Hindi tayo bibigyan ng awareness doon sa kung ano ba talaga ang impact. And kaya rin siguro marami rin ang hindi na bibigyan ng call to action dahil hindi nila nakikita ano ba yung impact ng ginagawa nila. Kaya this webinar is really something na maganda na hindi lang mapanood ng ating mga kabred, ng ating mga kasambahay, kundi siguro nga kung magkakaroon pa tayo ng rerun or kunwari kung ibang topic naman. I think kasi something na pag marami sa ating mga kasamang kabataan ang ma-empower on this, naku, malaki talaga ang magiging impact natin. And speaking of kabataan, nandyan na yata si Benj. Hello,
yes,
Mr. Benj.
Hello.
Are you already there?
Yes.
Yun, okay. Sige. Okay. So again, yung question mo, Cindy, di ba, ay kung ano yung mga na-experience niya at ano yung mga involvement niya sa marine conservation efforts so far.
Okay. A very first experience ko was actually back in 2017, where we had a cleanup drive for our old school. And it felt really rewarding, just like, cleaning it up, picking out all of the trashes from the beach. And I really wanted to join on something or an organization that would help the country or our environment. And gradually na lang yun, si Tita Ana was starting with CoOP na rin. And by 2018, when I was around 16 years old noon, yun na yung first event ko for CoOP as a volunteer. So yun, that was like this frisbee competition here sa Ayala Alabang Country Club. And then during that experience, I didn't know much pa. I didn't know the different types of plastics. I had to consult Tita Ana most of the time or Santiago on what type of plastic it was. And it wasn't like drop of plastic. Since we were in an event, we were trying to encourage all of their plastics to be given to us. Sa lahat ng basura nila. Oh. Hello?
Yes. Naririnig ka pa namin, Benj. Don't worry.
So yun po, it's very different yung experience
Yes
ko no
po,
first
for
time na yun.
Benj.
Okay.
Continue lang po.
And so yun, that experience was really fun. So at first I was a volunteer for CoOP, and then noong 2019 lang, bigla ko na nalaman na nagsimula pala si Jamin ng Kaligiran niya. And I was so shocked because I was like, wow, kapatid ko. So like ever since gusto ko talaga at least do something with that, and I never found the time to, or maybe I didn't have the courage to. But then now that my sister was there, I had a bigger motivation to do it. Other than, of course, wala na akong choice but to be part of it. Like na-drag na rin ako doon. Ako na lahat sa mga physical labor. Yun din. Sa start noon, we were doing programs for Haven for Children dito lang sa Muntinlupa. And like the first few programs, they made me host. I'm not that good, but then it taught me a lot of things also. I learned how to teach them, and then it just made me like feel happy. Just making other people aware of the impacts of plastic and like what we could do as children or as an individual to help our community. Now, all those were very different, obviously. There was a lot of hard times there, like lahat, puro miscommunications. I didn't know what to talk about almost half the time. And then later on, obviously, it started working out then. And then all these experiences was, it started becoming very organized, especially this pandemic when we started doing the drop our plastics dito sa CoOP. Each and every month that was passing by, we were getting better and better. Tapos we were and hello?
Yes. Go ahead, Benj. Narinig ka pa namin.
Okay. Sorry. So, like at first po, it's very different. Like, when I started doing the volunteer, obviously I had to tell people na I was receiving the plastics from them that they drop off. I didn't know how to like confront them. That was the hardest thing, honestly, about being doing volunteer work, is the confrontation with the people. The labor part, the service, like sorting it, I don't mind. I enjoy that. But like telling people na parang, excuse me sir, parang it's still dirty and we can't accept that kapag bulok, di ba? So pwede niyo po ba i-uwi o ihugas? Like, I slowly built that courage until ngayon, nasasabi ko na sa kanila, madumi yan, bawal yan. Kaya iuwi niyo muna, ilinis niyo lang pagkabalik niyo. Tsaka kung hindi sorted,
Yes, I think medyo nawala si Benj doon, no? Pero I really like yung point niya on how we can build yung courage natin as the youth. Na yun lang, kailangan lang natin magsimula eh. Once na magsimula ka, opportunities would come. And katulad nga, di ba, katulad sa amin sa Bible Reader Society, na yun namang paggawa ng mabuti, hindi naman magbubunga ng masama yun eh. Yun ang isa sa mga bagay na lagi naming natututunan, which is very relevant dun sa sinasabi ni Benj sa atin, no? Na yun nga, marami tayong pwedeng gawin at para sa kanya, even though maraming mga naging struggles for him, yung mga struggles na rin yun ang nag-build sa kanya for him to have that courage to confront people and to tell them kung ano ba ang dapat nilang gawin on certain things. So, ayun, I think no, medyo disconnected lang ang ating mga speakers, but also I also would like to reflect on that, considering na ako, for example, I have already volunteered dun sa sinasabi niya sa Haven for Children, and that is also a good venue, no, para sa ating mga kabred na tayo naman lalo na sa mga kabred, no, at kahit na sa mga hindi natin kasama sa bread, marami tayong opportunities na gumawa ng mabuti. And one opportunity is this, something that is being open to us by the Dive and by CoOP, by Kaligiran, yung gumawa rin tayo ng mabuti para sa ating kapaligiran. And I think yun naman, no, it's something na no-brainer para sa atin na malaki yung magiging impact nun para sa ating lahat. Pero sige, I think baka nandiyan na si Benj. Hello, Benj. Are you there again? Yes, hindi mukhang nadi-disconnect ang ating mga speakers. Pero yon, I think
Hello, Mr. Ben.
Yun, okay, mukhang nakabalik na siya.
Internet connection ngayon, no? Kahit ako din eh.
Yun, nanatiling matibay ang aking internet connection. Sige, Benj, nandyan ka na ba?
Opo, I'm using Yagis, po.
Yes, sige. All right, please continue, Benj.
So, yun nga po, ayun. So, now, succeeding events after that, lahat na naging more organized and mas maayos. And I built up my courage and it's a lot of fun and it's a lot rewarding. I think that's the number one thing. You're not only just giving a positive impact on the environment, but also on others. Like you're teaching them how to be more responsible with their plastic, holding them accountable. That's the number one thing with the courage one. Kasi at first, puro nga bulok, but then naaawa ako kasi ng pawis, so matanda na. So sabi ko, sige, sa amin na lang. I try to find my way in. But a lot of that, sometimes we try to clean the plastic pa at first, or kapag hindi segregated, minsan talaga may nag-drop off ng mga plastic na mix talaga, or basura talaga. Minsan pagkabukas mo, it's puro pagkain din, halo-halo na. It's accountability that was the number one thing that I learned. Helping or make people accountable for things, but in a way that it doesn't dehumanize them or discriminate them. Diba? I've been able to learn how to yung pakiusap, lalo na kapag mukha namang interested sila, kasi obviously nandun sila, they gave the plastic, so that means they're interested in actually helping out. So yun yung number one na learned ko talaga with my experiences. And here's how during the pandemic, we were able to start up these like sa community drop-offs. That it's every last Saturday of the month. Yeah. Here sa Alabang, Alabang Hills and all that. And I guess the number one thing for me that you guys could take away from, I guess, volunteering or helping out is that it will really help your character. And I guess it's rewarding talaga. For me, it just feels really good doing these acts of services. you don't have to do physical labor. A simple service lang as in like reposting a post na about plastic awareness or yung mga pollution and all that, the environmental harms, or anything that's like bringing the topic up maybe with your friends or with your family kapag kumakain kayo ng dinner, di ba? Maganda siyang gawin. The number one talaga is just awareness and doing a bit of something about it. So yeah.
Yes. Ang ganda ng perspective na yun, Benj, no? On how, ang daming points actually yung shinare mo on that, no? Yung sa akin, isa ring striking is, again, yun nga, hindi naman natin need na gawin yung physical na legwork, no? Pwede na tayo, bilang mga individuals, bilang mga kabataan, the mere reposting of articles or mere reposting of initiatives related to, to ocean conservation, marine conservation, would really help in this battle. And yun, no, baka kasi iniisip nila ang hirap-hirap naman ng gagawin o kaya baka masyado, katulad ng sinasabi mo kanina, masyadong nakakapagod at kung ano-ano pa. Ang maganda is, again, we are providing this alternative sa ating mga kasama who might be hesitant at first, who might be hesitant for now, pero in the future, kung of course with the help and with the mercy of God, we get to be able to do a lot of things to take care of the environment with the main goal of giving giving service to our fellow men as well. So yeah, thank you for that, Benj. No, siguro total magkatabi na rin naman kayo, Iago. Mag-segue na ako sa kanya, no, kasi your experiences are very are very relevant to what we are discussing now. But also, I would like to get yung experiences ni Iago from a different perspective. No? So para sa iyo naman, kung yung kay Benj is more on the experiences he had, para sa iyo naman, bakit kailangan ng oceans, bakit kailangan ng karagatan natin, ng ating mga yamang tubig, ang mga kabataan na katulad natin, Iago?
The reason why we're needed a lot of the time is because we are the voice of a lot of different things, and there are, like said previously, there are a lot of us here in Gen Z, and there are a lot of young people that are very active in things like social media and very active in terms of things like environmental. Well, starting now, mga environmental organizations and stuff. But it's the reason why I feel like the youth are so important is because one, like my mom said previously, we could teach our parents, we could teach our friends, we could teach our staff members at school about this topic, and we could bring it up in different discussions. So having that ability and that power to actually encourage people to talk about and even do something about this subject is very important. And then another thing that I feel we can do very well actually is by just another thing that we can do well is just by talking and just like not even like talking to people that don't know about the subject, but talking amongst ourselves, like Ben said, and actually bringing emphasis to it. Because I feel like a lot of people, it's a lot of talk and no action. They just talk about the subject and they don't do anything about it. So talking to each other and doing like what Jamin is doing and making organizations like Kaligiran that are trying to actively help this planet that we, our generation, are going to be on for the long run. I mean, we have majority of us have only been here for less than a quarter of our lives. Most of us are younger than the mid-20s, and now that we're noticing this problem that wasn't really talked about before, because I mean, the one thing that we shouldn't also be doing is blaming the previous generation because different circumstances, and a lot of the time in these types of situations, we try and look for someone to blame rather than actually talk about the solution. So, what we could do is use the time that when we have been during the pandemic to actually make something of the of our ability to just have this free time, because a lot of the time we don't have like an opening or an opportunity to get to do this stuff because we're doing stuff for example school, or we're just constantly hanging out with our friends. We're always doing something else. So now that we don't have anything to do, like what my mom has stated previously, we should be doing something beneficial to the planet by researching about what we could do to lessen our waste, or research about the different contributors to plastic, and maybe try and lessen those, especially when it comes to the consumer's mentality, like I said previously, the online shopping, or also when we go back to a normal way of life without this quarantine, we could start doing things like using our own containers or using our own jugs and stuff like that for when we go out and we're like buying drinks, buying food, and things like that. So just those learning about lifestyle changes now and applying them to the life that we are going to be living post pandemic would be something that we can do while we still have this free time and while we're able to just enjoy this kind of, though it has its negative and positives, we are somewhat able to relax at the moment and being able to just do the things that we want in terms of trying to save the environment and trying to lessen the plastic waste would be a massive help and would be something that I feel that you should take action on and something that we should all be motivated to do.
I think one other thing that I just want to add is the fact that here you also find out later when Sika Anna talks about streamlining sort and like how exactly co-op will work, or how you can help co-op is yan din, like simple acts of like maybe keeping your plastic and not throwing it all away, but like cleaning it, then maybe sorting it or segregating it, which Tita Anna will discuss on later. It's a very simple task. Like, let's say, pagkatapos mo nang gamitin yung, ano ba, like let's say, your
Soda, soda, so
it's like, yeah, your soft drinks, Coke. Pagkatapos ka mag-Coke, one simple thing you could do is go to the faucet, you could wash it, and then just let it dry. And then that's it. You can just put it in your, maybe one whole bin of plastic. And it's a very simple way that could actually impact the world in so many different ways. Right?
another thing that I would just like to add is because my mom mentioned previously, the things that were tossed into the ocean because of how dirty they are, we're not able to pick it up. If we are able to actually clean the things that are being, or clean the plastics that are being dropped off, then it doesn't, it won't have that like appearance of it being trash. It's just going to look like a plastic product that doesn't necessarily have the contents in it. And because of it being clean, it won't smell either. And it's when a lot of the deterring factors when it comes to handling things like plastic is because it's supposedly dirty. And it's something that people shouldn't be touching because it's dirty and we could get affected. So learning how to just simply do things like washing your plastic before uh, tossing it aside would help a lot. And it would also be something that's, it's kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you make your bed. It's like something that is what should be turned into a habit, and it's an accomplishment for the day that will motivate you to get through the day in a positive light, and it'll like just be something that can encourage you to actually take action because it's something simple and it's something that doesn't take a lot of energy to do because people kind of get overwhelmed at the idea of reducing your plastic and not in a drastic way. And a lot of people also think that because you're not using plastic, you're not kind of enjoying the beauties of life of like buying food and like buying soft drinks and things like that. But in reality, what you could do is you could still enjoy those things and you could still buy those products, maybe not in such a high quantity, but that you don't necessarily have to cut that off entirely from your life. So
Yes.
yeah, that's literally the role.
That's really good, yeah.
Oo, thank you very much for that, no, Tiago and Benj. Ako, personally, no, yung mga nakuha ko, and as, as a member of the Bible Reader Society, yung una na nakita ko from what you were doing is very relevant and very resonating sa amin. Kasi sa Bible Reader Society rin hindi idle yung mga kabred Kasi ang dami na nade-depress right now because of the pandemic dahil wala silang ginagawa, dahil hindi sila makalabas and so on. Pero sa mga kabred kasi, yun rin na naturuan tinuruan kasi yung mga kabred na gumawa ng mabuti sa lahat ng tao. Kaya I think yun, no, it's something na siguro ma-add na lang ng bread and not only bread, no, but yung mga iba pa nating audience na something that they can do for them to not be idle during this pandemic season tuloy. Pero yun, during the pandemic na nangyayari sa atin ngayon. And second is on lifestyle change. Na yung something that we can acquire right now habang pandemic, something that we can make as a habit, something we can train ourselves in para when we go post-pandemic, we can live on a lifestyle that is na siguro mas conscious na tayo. Not again katulad ng last points mo, Yago, on hindi naman natin eliminate entirely yung use of plastic because technically hindi naman talaga yun posible because of dahil ang plastic naman is very beneficial pa rin to us. However, we get to responsibly use plastics and we get to recycle it and to have that way for us to get value from it aside from how we really see it as katulad nung sinabi mo na parang waste, madumi na yan, ito lang naman ang tingin sa plastic, bakit natin kailangan na anuhin yung plastic, baka ma-infect pa ako. It's something na marami tayong magagawa bilang mga kabataan. Something na again yung siguro yung last point that I got from your from what you've said is it's simple. Marami tayong pwedeng magawa na we can just start merely on katulad rin nung sinabi ni Benj kanina na same rin yung sinasabi ninyo, yun nga, reposting articles, reposting posts na parang to raise awareness. Then afterwards we get to join organizations like Bread Society, like Kaligiran, like CoOP to make ourselves active and yun nga to give yung service natin not only to the ocean but also to our fellow men as well. So yan ang ganda ng inyong mga sinabi dyan, Benj and Yago. Siguro gusto ko namang puntahan na Cindy ang ating I think isa sa mga pinaka-active pa rin ngayon despite the pandemic. We have here again the founder and CEO of the Clean Our Oceans Project, Miss Anna Varona.
Hi there, Verge. So should I go on to teaching you guys? Because we have 7 kinds of plastics. The important thing kasi here that we are trying to teach people is that these plastics can be upcycled or recycled. There are 7 types, all of them but one cannot be used because it's toxic. That's called PVC. But before you even get to know all of those facts, the important thing is, the very first thing that you should know is how to sort them from type 1, type 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and so forth. So please, I will share with you my screen so that you can all learn about how to sort your plastics according to classification. When you sort the plastics according to classification, it is easier for CoOP to send it to different manufacturers who need it. Kasi ang type 1 kailangan niya ganito, ang type 2 kailangan ganito, kay type 2 3 hindi kasama yan, ang type 4 tatanggapin ng ganitong recycler. So we have to classify it. Why do we ask people to do it for themselves? Because kayo bumili niyan di ba?
Yeah.
Kayo bumili, responsibilidad ninyo. It's like as if you are being handed a puppy. When you accept the puppy is your responsibility. When the plastic is, given to you and you accept it, you also accept your responsibility of disposing it properly without it polluting the ocean. So make it manufacturer ready, which is clean. Kailangan linisin. Huwag niyo po papadadala yung plastic sa drop-off points na may dugo, may mantika, o kaya may mabahong amoy. Huwag po. Kasi hindi na ho plastic yan. Basura na ho yan. Parang tao lang yan. Kung anong trato ho ninyo dun sa gamit, kung basura ang trato nyo, basura yon. Parang tao. Pag tinatatlo na yung basura na yung tao. So let's not treat these plastics as trash. They're not trash. They are a recyclable material. Okay? So that's your responsibility. So, okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. So, again, I'm Anna Varona. I'm an environmental advocate, technical diver, underwater photographer, and the founder of Clean Our Oceans Project. Okay. So, we have been talking all about how plastic pollution is affecting our lives, that it could actually steal the life of our planet and our children away from them if we continue doing what we are doing right now. Okay? So we encourage you to be part of the solution, not the pollution. So our roadmap to action is to think before you throw. Think before you throw is actually thinking, should this be thrown or should this be recycled? Should I buy this or could I do without it? So it is a guide to sorting your plastics before you drop it. There are 7 types of plastics, so you should get to know them in order for it to be manufactured already and be diverted away from the landfill. So ito po, type 1. Type 1 is polyethylene. Yan ang parang napaka-popular na plastic sa mga taong mahilig uminom ng kape, taong mahilig kumain ng take-out, taong mahilig uminom ng tubig. Okay? They're usually clean, clear, and crispy. Yung itsura ho ng PET, parang ang sosyal, di ba? Kaya nakikita ho ninyo yung kanyang produkto, usually mga high-end products ang gumagamit ng PET. Tapos napakaklaro ho ng itsura niya. Katulad po dito sa flavored syrup yan, nung napagkatingin kong ganyan, kala ko talaga glass siya. Hindi pala siya glass, plastic siya. Tapos ang PET, medyo crispy pag pinakikinggan mo. Okay? So yan po ang PET. They're usually bottled water, yung take-out na sa kape, yung mga social na looking na mga shampoo, yan, PET po yan. Ang next po na type na plastic, type number 2, HDPE. Ang HDPE po usually opaque, durable, at saka brittle. So, bakit brittle? Parang hindi siya makunat eh. So, pag binali mong ganyan, nababali siya ng ganyan, ng madali. Okay? Pero matibay siya. Yung opaque niya, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya clear. Usually, they come in solid colors. What are type 2 plastics? They're usually shampoo bottles, lotion, vitamins. Nalagyan ng mga vitamins po. Di ba pag nakikita ho ninyo, di ba puti yan? Type 2 po yun. Matibay yun. Tapos medyo matigas. Yun, matigas po ang type 2. Susunod doon na plastic ay type 3 PVC. Siya ay flexible, siya ay durable, tapos may amoy ho siya. Alam mo, di ba yung kapote, pag bumibili ho kayo ng raincoat dun sa palengke, yung kulay yellow, pag binuksan nyo parang may amoy. Pati yung salbabida, di ba? Pag binuksan nyo na sa packaging may amoy. Ang credit card, pag binigay ho sa inyo, toxic ho yan. Hindi lang ho dahil sa paggagastos, pero toxic din sa environment. So, yan ang PVC po. Ang PVC din po, pag nabali ho ninyo, parang pulbos ho yung sa gitna niya. It becomes powdery. So that is PVC. We do not accept PVC, or most recycling companies will not accept PVC because it's very toxic. Pag yan ho, ininit, yung fumes niya can cause a lot of diseases like cancer. Yun. Kaya hindi ho tinatanggap yan ng mga recycling companies. Ang type 4, which is low density polyethylene, is thin. Tapos pag ganyan nyo ho, scratchy siya, parang may kinakamot. At saka usually mura lang yan, tapos madaling masira. Cellophane, yan. Cling wrap, yan. Type 4 ho yan. Katulad ng nangyayari rito, marami hong type 4 nang nakokolekta namin sa Drop the Plastic dahil sa online shopping. Yan. And susunod ho po na type na plastic is type 5. Type 5 is actually, I'm sorry, I know this doesn't sound like a typical environmental advocate, pero type 5 is my favorite plastic because it's durable, it's strong, it's flexible, it also can withstand microwaving, it can be reused, and aside from that, it's also one of the plastics that are the favorites of recyclers and upcyclers dahil nga matibay. Pag nakikita ho ninyo na yung takeout ninyo, pwedeng i-microwave, type 5 ho yan. Pag nakikita ho ninyo, yung plastic, kung i-bend, tulad ho nito, ganyan, bend, pwedeng ganyan, tapos hindi nasisira, type 5 ho yan. Yan ang po ang type 5 polypropylene plastics. And then yung mga monoblock, type 5 yan. Hardcore po na plastic 5. Kaya mainit, kaya malamig, para pag-ibig na tunay. Ang type 6, sabi ko na nga mag-subversion eh. Ang type 6 naman is polystyrene. It's brittle. Tapos pag sinira ninyong ganyan, di ba crispy ang itsura niya? Tsaka when you hear it, it's crispy. And it's also noisy when you handle it. That's type 6. Usually, type 6 is used for cold storage. So, yung mga nilalagay na mga karne, di ba, pag binibili sa grocery, nakalagay siya sa plastic, type 6 ho yung tray niya. Tapos yung cling wrap, type 4. Ganyan. So, nilalagay sa refrigerator, nilalagay sa freezer. Yan, type 6 ho yan. Pero may matibay rin ho na type 6 na medyo matigas. Yung para mga picture frames, yung ibang mga salamin natin po, paminsan type 6. Yan ho ang type 6. Ang type 7, yan ang pinaka-famous na plastic. Yan ang others. Diyan tayo naging bronze medalist ng Plastic Polluter of the World. Okay, sachets are type 6. Malalagyan ng chips, type 6. Lalagyan ng ramen, type 6. Yan po, type 7. Type 7 ho lahat yan. Ang type 7 po ay mura, usually may foil, at saka multi-layered. Bakit to? Naging challenge ho ang sachet i-recycle dahil multi-layered niya. One layer is PET, one layer is type 4, one layer is type 6. Kaya naging challenge siya. Dati ho, hindi yon ina-accept ng mga upcyclers. Pero with CoOP po, at saka yung upcycling partners ho namin, they accept it because they're able to utilize it and use it as a raw material for their durable, recyclable, upcyclable, reusable products. Yan po ang type 7. So, paano ho ba natin mababawasan ang plastic pollution? Well, the biggest impact is born through behavioral change and necessity. Behavioral change is when you start having a different relationship with your lifestyle and with the plastics that you buy. It's born out of necessity because we are not going to have a choice. So with CoOP, the biggest challenge was asking people to clean their plastics, asking them to dry their plastic, asking them to sort their plastic, and asking them to actually drop it off at the drop of points. Now, with CoOP, we are able to motivate people to do that. That's why we're able to collect tons of plastic now in 1 year. And with the support of Brad and The Dive, with Cindy, with Maribel, with Direct RG, dumadami ho yung mga supporters namin. Tsaka naniniwala. So ngayon, yun na nga, ito nga ho po, noong 2019, we were able to collect 14 tons of plastic, which is a big change from 2017 na every month, 30 kilograms lang ho yung nakukuha natin. Naging 200 plus ho kami kilograms per month in 2019. And despite pandemic, we are doing the same thing right now. We are able to overcome. So Drop the Plastic is all about clean, dry, sort, and send. It's 4 different actions that will lead to many benefits for the future of our children on the planet Earth, for order for them to survive. The advantages for the planet is, for recycling, is that it reduces the need to mine, reducing the destruction of the planet. It also saves the ecosystem that provides us with the food we eat, the air we breathe. You have to think about it because 7 out of the 10 breaths we breathe is produced by the marine environment. So I'm asking all of you to please take a truthful look at your lifestyle. Think how much the environment is paying for all of this. How much is it paying for your paper? How much is paying for your fabric? How much is it paying for your electronics? Because we would like you to match the value of your life to how the planet has valued yours. Thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot from Get Sorted and Think Before You Do.
Yes, salamat for that, Miss Ana. No? I mean, yun palang part on knowing, I think yun nga na marami sa atin hindi kasi kilala yung, ano ba yung plastics na to? Ano ba yung, kumbaga ako man personally, bili lang ako ng bili. Pero hindi ko naman alam ano ba yung iba't ibang mga plastics na ginagamit ko at ano ba ang impact nun at kung kunwari, yun nga, for example, yung sa sinasabi mo na, for example, ngayon ko lang rin nalaman yun na yun palang credit card, again, hindi lang siya toxic dahil magastos, kundi toxic rin siya na kapag sinunod mo, di ba? Yun nga na magkaka-cancer ka. Pero, ay naku, magkaka-cancer ka rin naman, Miss Ana, kung hinahabol ka na ng bill ng credit card mo, feeling ko Di ba? Pero yan,
Oo.
truth be told, kailangan alam natin kung ano ba yung mga ginagamit natin para rin alam natin how we can act on them. And katulad nga, for example, if we help yung initiative ninyo sa co-op, alam rin namin ano dapat yung gawin namin. Katulad nung sinasabi mo, baka nga bigay lang kami ng bigay ng plastic, meron mantikang nakaano pa doon. O kaya yung pinaglagyan ng ano, di ba? Yung kunwari isda, tapos pag binigay sa inyo, daig pa yung sangsang ng isda nung bagong bili mo.
Correct.
Di ba?
Oo.
Kaya very important yung two things na kinover mo eh. One is on knowing kung ano ba yung mga plastics, ano yung iba't iba nilang classification, and second is yung clean, dry, sort, and send. Yung kumbaga, para sa akin, Miss Ana, totoo lang, ang daming nagsasabi na mag-recycle tayo, pero hindi ganon ka-intuitive for some, yung clean and dry na part. Puro sort agad eh. Paano yun? Diba?
Yes, yun ang naging problema because when I would speak to the upcyclers, I would ask them before. This was 2013, I remember. My first question was that, you have the recycling facility, you have the machines, why aren't you recycling? We don't get enough plastics. And I said, that's crazy. How can you not be getting enough plastics? Then they go, their answer is always this. Kasi pag nakukuha namin siya, madumi siya. Hindi naman namin magagamit ang maduming plastics. It's like when you're cooking. Tell me, you want to make you make a cake. You want to make a cake. Kukuha ka ng butter na galing ba sa lapag? Will you get flour that came from the road? Will you use eggs that have been broken and already with dirty stuff on it? Will you? Of course not. So I understand where the manufacturers are coming from, that they need it clean and they need it dry. Diba? At saka isa pa nun, ikaw bumili nun eh.
Yun.
Diba? You bought it. Take responsibility for it. Ang ating sistema kasi ngayon sa national government is that the garbage collection system has become so politicized. It was made for popularity. It was not made for sustainability. Popularity, why? Iboto nyo ako, akong bahala sa basura nyo. Diba? Ganon. Saan natin tatambak? Landfill. Wala. Out of sight, out of mind. Pero dati ba, may basurero ba dito sa Pilipinas, ng mga lolo-lola natin? Wala naman eh. Yung ating scraps naman, di ba, food scraps natin, saan napupunta? Kanin, baboy, o kaya pinapakain sa mga pusa, sa aso, sa manok. Yung ating basura, yung basura naman nun, usually.
Yes, Miss Ana? Yes, I think meron rin tayong technical difficulty with Miss Ana, no? Pero yun nga, no?
Balik na ba ako?
Nakabalik ka na, Cindy. Nagalaw mo na ang baso, Cindy. Yes. Okay, pero yun, no?
Sana magtanong kay Miss Ana, kaso nag-disconnect naman. Pero buti na lang nakabalik na ako ngayon.
Pero ang ganda nga nung sinasabi niya, Cindy, katulad nung sinasabi ko kanina, na una is on knowing kung ano ba yung plastic, diba?
Na-miss ko yung part na yun.
Oo, yun.
Na-miss ko yung part na yun, pero...
Yes. Oo, yung una niyang inaano, yung sa knowing yung types of plastic. Second is on the clean, dry, and sort. Pero para sa akin, I think, more importantly, kahit na alam natin yung type ng plastic, alam natin yung clean, dry, and sort, pero yung aspect na sinasabi niya on accountability, on owning na ikaw yung bumili ng plastic and you should be responsible for that. I think yun yung pinaka-importante, di ba? On behavior, on how we get to own kung ano ba yung binili natin at kung paano ba natin na yun nga eh, ang ganda ng perspective niya on, yun nga, disposing being very politicized, na yun na nga, ang gusto ng mga politiko na iba, yun nga, tapon lang kayo, kayong bahala dyan, kaming bahala dyan, tapon lang kayo, kahit na bahala kayo sa buhay nyo, paano itapon yung basura nyo, di ba? Na ang ganda ng point niya doon eh, na dapat yung accountability and yung responsibility nasa atin. Kasi tayo yung gumamit eh. And we don't want to attribute that responsibility and that accountability to others, primarily the manufacturers who are just there to help us regenerate the value we got from that plastic, no? Kaya ang ganda ng perspective na sinasabi ni Miss Ana doon, Cindy, di ba? And I know, marami ka rin perspective on that, no? Gusto ko lang rin malaman yung thoughts mo on that.
And actually, aminin na natin, being honest, di ba, lahat tayo gumagamit ng plastic.
Yes.
And most of the time, pag bumili tayo ng plastic, Pag nakain na natin, kung halimbawa kung ano yung tinapay na nakabalot doon, wala na tayong pakialam after that. Let's be honest to ourselves, but we don't want this na ayaw naman namin pagalitan yung mga tao. And that's not what we are doing here. We just wanted to create awareness. We wanted to create consciousness. At saka tayo maging aware tayo na yung plastic na to ginamit natin. So, kaya nga, katulad nga ng sinabi ni Ms. Ana, dapat tayo yung responsable dun sa kalat na after ba ng kinain mo, itatapon mo na lang. Siyempre, di ba, ililigpit mo yon. So, doon naman sa clean, dry, and sorted, gusto ko sana itanong kay Ms. Ana kanina kasi hindi ako nabigyan ng chance kasi gusto ko malaman kung paano din yung way para ma-tackle ng gusto sa mga kasambahay natin at sa mga viewers natin kung paano din nila gagawin yun sa mga bahay-bahay din nila, no? Katulad nga niyan, katulad sa akin, ang ginagawa ko madalas dun sa mga plastic na hindi ko ma-recycle, iniipon ko siya. Ang problema minsan, yung mga binibili natin na gusto natin bilhin or gusto natin kainin. For example, I'm craving for donut. So yung donut na binibili ko, laging ang lalagyan lang niya plastic. So wala akong ibang choice kundi bilhin yon kasi yun yung gusto ko. Or example, milk tea. So mahilig ka sa milk tea, hindi ka pwede magdala ng sarili mong baunan kasi hindi nila tatanggapin yon. And they will really put it on this plastic cup. So ang chance mo na lang is wag mo na lang tanggapin yung plastic straw, gamitin mo na lang sa bahay mo. At saka ako kasi hindi ako fan ng straw. Not because of the reason na it contributes to the kalat. Gusto ko lang na yung lid. Gusto ko na lips to lips yung baso kasi lang yun na. Pero on the conscious side, gusto mo rin naman makabawas doon sa plastic pollution. Pero totoo naman, pag may straw, di ba, wala nang lasa. So,
ako naman, hindi ako, masaya pa ako sa straw.
Yung mga...
Yes.
Masaya ka sa straw. Hindi ako mahilig
At
kasi
times.
nga doon sa walang lasa. Andiyan na si Ms. Ana. Ms. Ana, lang, may question ako doon sa clean, dry, and sorted. Nawawala kasi, hello, internet connection. Kaya nagbabalik na po. Gusto ko pong malaman doon sa part ng clean, dry, and sorted kasi hindi ko masyadong narinig kanina. Paano po ba nila lilinisan yung mismong plastic? So parang sasabunan po ba nila gagamit ng tubig and then after nun isasampay po ba nila? Tama po ba ako? Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi?
Oo, yes. So,
yung normal.
Kunwari, sa mga may malagkit, tapos may dugo at saka may mantika, kailangan talagang sabunin. Tapos hayaan na doon. Mag-isa yan eh. Hindi mo naman kailangan bantayan eh.
Yeah. Yun nga, Ms. Ana.
Kailangan mga ilagay na zone ropes or whatever.
Kasi baka nga yung iba ma-alienate pa si Endino na, ang dami ko namang gagawin para dito sa basura na to. Hindi. Madali lang yung kailangan mong gawin. Hindi mo kailangan na pag-effortan masyado.
Saka minsan kasi may mga tao naman, alam mo yung masyadong maraming sinasabi, Ms. Ana, sabihin nila, di hugasan ko to, di nag-consume ako ng water. You know these people, di ba?
Yung mga abogaduhin ka. Ilalabanan ka on defense, sasabihin, nga, bakit? Di sayang yung tubig. O yung sabon na yun, that would harm the environment. Gagano pa. Di ba? Ano lang gagawin natin, di ba?
Ito rin yan. Wala tayong tubig magagamit.
Di ba? Buti pa nga ngayon eh.
Those are the normal questions naman. Dun sa mga ibang tao, let's accept that. There will be people asking these things and that. So maganda may clarification din po on that part.
At saka kasi pag sinasabi nila na gagawin ko pa ba yan? Kung ayaw mong gawin, bumili ng plastic. Diba? Ganun lang ito. If you don't want to deal with the plastic, you don't want to deal with something, don't buy it. O diba? Verge. Parang relationship.
Hugot na naman ba to, Miss Ana? Parang ano to, type 5? Pwede sa mainit?
Ayaw ko na!
Nag-strike sa akin. Yun yung type 5. Tsaka yung credit card, yun yung dalawang pinaka-ano eh. Oo, talaga nakaka-cancel kasi talaga yung credit card.
Hindi ko alam kung natanong nyo na kay Miss Ana, pero gusto kong tanungin itong paulit-ulit na tanong ng karamihan, tsaka nung mga iba na kahit alam na nila, tinatanong pa rin nila. Gusto kong malaman po, coming from you naman, Miss Ana, kasi people heard it from other people. Gusto ko malaman po sa inyo para masabi nyo rin po sa ating mga kasambahay at sa ating mga viewers kung ano po ba talaga yung impact ng plastic pollution sa ating karagatan. Do alam ko naman po madalas nyo na pong nasasagot, pero gusto ko lang po ma-emphasize nyo po sa kanila on a more in-depth level.
Okay. The marine environment provides us with the air we breathe, diba? So the ecosystem is a machine that creates this air. So we start with the rocks. The rocks are where the little things live in. These little things are eaten by the bigger things. Okay? Tapos, from those little rocks, nag-grow yung coral. Pag nandun yung coral, doon tumitira ang mga isda. Doon sila natutulog, doon sila kumakain, doon sila nagkakaroon ng relationship. Tapos, so may thinking Verge. Tapos, pag kunwari, yung isda, dumami na sila dahil already in reproduction stage, dadami na sila. You cannot have naman an overpopulation of tiny fish. So there's the big fish. The big fish eat the smaller fish. And then it goes on and goes on and goes on until we have the whales. The whales eat the other fish, they eat the other organisms there on the ocean. The whales, of course, pag ikaw kumain ng marami, kailangan di ba may lalabasan yan. So, ang whales, pag kumain ng marami, yung dumi nila, lumalabas. Mother Nature created an ecosystem where it takes care of its own waste. So, she created plankton to eat the waste of all these big fish. The plankton will eat the waste, absorb it, and then, of course, they have to release what they've eaten. And what they've eaten is released in the form of oxygen, which everybody in the planet breathes. Now, let's say plastic pollution is prevalent already. It's starting to kill over 1,000 marine species in the ocean, okay? Now, just like any machine, when you take out a part, it starts to not work properly. So, kunwari, yung kotse nyo na wala ng karburador, hindi siya tatakbo na maayos. Hindi kayo makapunta sa inyong pinatutungunan. Parang ang marine ecosystem, pag nawala ang shark, masisira yung ecosystem, mahihirapan mag-produce ng air. Pag nawala ang coral, walang pagtitirhan yung mga isda, walang makakain yung mga malalaking isda. Mamamatay silang lahat. Recently, in the Gulf of Thailand, there was a whale that was found eating fish at the surface of the water. The surface of the water, not under, at the surface. And why? Because the fish were there at the surface because wala na raw silang mahingang oxygen sa ilalim ng tubig. Dahil panay pollution na. So the whale was also going after the fish at the surface. Now, once they're all on the surface, they will die because they're not meant to be there. Diba? So the ocean will die, and then we won't have anything that will be able to sustain the population breathing capacity. Kasi ang trees, ang mountains will only make 30% of the air we breathe. Hindi nakakayanin. Kaya for me, that little thing, action of washing the plastic is a small thing compared to what the ocean can do for us. Pag sinabi na lang sa akin, bakit hindi yung trees ang i-save ko, bakit ako magsisave? Magsisave na lang ako ng 70% of what occupies the planet kaysa doon sa 30%. If you save the 70%, the 30% is saved. Correct? Parang it's just a matter of deduction. So, that's the impact of plastic pollution on us. The quality of our air is already going down. The quality of our water has already gone down. We cannot drink water from the river anymore. The humans used to be able to do that. But not anymore.
Yeah.
Kasi nga, polluted. So that's the impact. They don't have a concept of how the impact is so great because they did not live in the same planet that we did in. I lived in a planet where I go down the ocean, it's all starfish, fish, coral. Ang naabutan kasi na nila is that they go down the ocean, it's polluted.
Yeah.
Kaya di nila mag-gets. Yun,
Yeah.
di nila kasi nakita yung nakita ko dati.
Mhm.
So for me, the reason why I share a lot of photographs and videos of how the ocean should be is so they have an idea of what they're missing out on. Ganon. When Yago
Yeah.
was young, I used to bring him to the beach and I would bring him to the nice one, syempre. So akala niya all the ocean was like that. Then suddenly, I brought him to the cleanup dive. Nagulat siya. Yun.
Yan nga, Miss Ana, no? Ang ganda na you get to bridge that gap, no? Kasi totoo lang, a lot of these concepts, no? A lot of these things, nababasa na lang namin sa libro because those are things na hindi namin nakita talaga. And ang maganda nga yun, no, na I think gusto ko rin tanungin yung perspective ninyo at yung perspective nila Benj, nila Yago at nila Jamin, no, on paano ba natin talaga i-encourage yung ating mga kasamang kabataan to see plastic as not your ordinary waste, to see value in it para yun nga di ba? Kasi di ba, Miss Ana, yun, katulad ng sinasabi mo, pag ang tingin mo sa isang tao, ang trato mo sa isang tao, ganon, talagang ganon yung mangyayari. Whereas, kunwari, ang tingin natin sa plastic, may value siya, we can clean it, and we can dry it, and we can sort it. Basically, we can generate value from it again, eh. Yun yung no, na how do we encourage ang ating mga kasamang kabataan on seeing plastic and that way na raw material siya for us to be able to generate other things. Sige, gusto ko marinig yung thoughts rin nila Yago, Miss Ana, and nila Jamin, no, on that.
Ano yung tanong ulit po? Sorry.
Yes, yun. Kasi yung marami pa rin mga kabataan ngayon, no, even though ang dami na nating na-discuss, no, marami pa rin kasi mga kabataan ngayon na ang trato nila sa plastic is just waste. Hindi naman talaga ganon. We can treat plastic as raw materials provided that we do the clean, dry, and sort, then send. And then we basically, whenever we see plastic na, we get to see kung ano ba yung value na we can regenerate from that, no? So yun, how from your experience, how can we further encourage the youth to look at plastics on a different way, on katulad ng perspective na pinapakita nyo sa amin ngayon?
For me personally, one thing that I noticed is one thing that is also prevalent with our generation is we want to have fun. So one thing that we could do with regards to the plastic is try and do something fun with it. Like for example, I noticed that a lot of people recently in quarantine have been getting into plants. So what they could do is turn that plastic bottle into a pot for your plant or something like that. Try and have that piece of plastic and reuse it and turn it into something that either you can use or if you can't use it, then yeah, do the whole sort clean, then like dry and everything. So it's just try like instead of looking at it on surface value, try and figure out something else to do with it that would seem fun or useful to you. Would be my suggestion first.
Actually naman, I think one way we can view plastic, it's like probably the way we view or see dishes, right? Yung mga ginamit natin pang kain, obviously, after natin kumain, we always wash them, di ba? It's not just a habit, but it's something that you need to do, di ba? So in a way, we can start viewing plastic as well, in a way that pagkatapos mo ito, you clean it, di ba? You clean it, and then maybe instead of putting it in the cupboard or your mga cabinets, kung saan yung nilagay mga plates and utensils, sort it na. So, ganun lang din. It's a responsibility. It's something that I think, in a way, we should think of it like an automatic thing to do. Just like this.
Yeah.
I agree with them and finding also a value, like more value to the plastic. Because ang sayang naman to just use it all the time and not do anything about it to just throw it away. So that finding that value, and I guess to encourage them even more, we can show them like concrete evidence of what we can do with plastic. And all these creative things like making a bench out of plastic. And I think that would encourage people to deal with it. Yeah, encourage people to recycle and upcycle their plastic. Just not throw it anywhere from time to time. It will just end up in landfills and the ocean.
One thing I would also like to add is because one thing that we need to do also is tell people and allow them to recognize that it is reusable for any amount of time depending on how you clean it and how you take care of it.
Yeah.
That I noticed or something that I've heard is that people look at that small number at the bottom of plastic with the triangle in it that
Yeah.
plastic it is. People think that that's how many times you can reuse it, which is
Yeah, oo. Totoo yun. Kasi totoo lang hindi natin, ang daming tao, lalo na, I mean, hindi naman lahat nakapag-aral or hindi naman lahat are aware of things. Nakita nila number Anong expectations natin sa kanila? So, ang ganda that we get to also use our voice as the youth, kasama ng expertise na binibigay at perspective na binibigay nila Miss Ana, para mag-raise tayo ng awareness. Hindi lang, kasi baka yung iba naman ang naiisip nila, kasi ang mga minimension kanina, puro mga villages, pang mayaman na activity lang yan. No, this is an activity that can be done by a lot of different people from different demographics, from different walks of life, from different backgrounds. No? At ang importante lang is, yun nga, ang dami yung mga sinasabi na simple things that our youth, not only our youth, but also the parents of the youth ngayon na pwede nilang gawin for us to encourage a lifestyle that would enable us to have an environment that is sustainable and an environment that would be there not only for our generation but for the generations to come. With that, thank you Miss Ana, Miss Jamin, Mr. Benj, and Mr. Yago. Ang daming naming natutunan sa maraming mga bagay na na-discuss ninyo on that. No? Hello rin Cindy. Yes, I think meron pa tayong
medyo overtime na tayo, no? Pagbigyan naman natin yung mga viewers natin na makapag-ask ng questions sa ating mga speakers, Verge.
Yes, marami tayong questions mula sa audience natin.
Question.
Oo, ito yung una nating question, no? Sadly daw, about sa segregation ng mga basura, paano yung mga garbage truck? Kadalasan kasi, agad-agad na lang nila tinatambak yung basura. I think I can dito, no? Yung ibang mga, kunwari mga barangay, for example, may dadaan na truck ng basura, ako, sinegregate ko sa buong kaya ko lahat ng pwede kong magawa. Tapos pagdating dun sa basura, pak! Wala na. Paano yung gagawin natin doon? Anyone can answer from Miss Ana and the team on that.
Plastic event there. Tapos talk to the LGU so they could partner up with recyclers. I mean, it doesn't have to go through us, diba? What I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure they're in their environment. Meron mga recyclers dyan Meron magbibili ng mga plastics dyan. So dapat kausapin ng LGU yung mga tunay na recyclers. Hindi na yung dalarin sa landfill. They have to be in partnership with manufacturers also. So they will be accepting the plastics.
Yeah, I think maganda doon sa perspective mo, Miss Ana. Katulad nung sinasabi mo on politicizing yung waste management in the country, na ganun siya ka-politicized, na maganda na we get to also voice out kung ano yung nakikita nating tama. And when we get to have awareness sessions like this, we get to also voice out that as a constituent of our local government units na yun nga, baka ito naman yung pwede natin gawin. And yun na baka wala pa silang magawa dahil hindi natin alam. Miss Ana, I know, alam nyo rin naman yung control natin with the LGUs. At least we get to partner with organizations like CoOP para at least mabawas-bawasan yung mga itatambak lang nila sa garbage truck, di ba? Then unti-unti, when we get to when we get to influence, when we get to lobby with local governments, then we get to have yun talagang proper way of segregating our waste and generating value from that. Ganda nun. Yes, Cindy. Next na question natin. Yes, Cindy. Sorry, pati si Cindy may technical difficulty. Parang, ay nako, buti na lang nananatiling matibay ang internet namin. Pero baka mausog. De, joke lang. Sige, ang next question naman natin, Miss Ana and team, no? We received a lot of questions. Pero yun nga, marami kasi tayong marami talaga yung questions natin. Gusto pa, ako actually may nakikita ko isa pang question dito. Pero I think this calls for another session with us, no, na siguro when now we focused on concepts, now we focused on on the different things that you want to basically roll out sa ating mga kasama. Next time we get to dig deeper doon sa mga questions nila. And I think yun nga ang maganda, di ba, Miss Ana and team, katulad yung sa garbage truck na yun ang totoong buhay nila eh. Yun ang nakikita nila na kahit na anong gusto nilang gawin, kung ganun man ang reality nila, wala rin tayong magagawa. So yun, we might have received a lot of questions but we apologize dahil wala na tayong enough time to answer all of them. But I'm sure na marami kayong natutunan at please, sa ating audience, please stay tuned hanggang sa dulo ng ating program. May sorpresa pa tayong in store kung paano pa kayo mai-involve. With that, again, we would like to thank Miss Ana, Mr. Santiago, Mr. Benj, and Miss Jamin for your valuable input sa ating discussion today. Ngayon naman ay magbasa tayo ng ilang mga tweets natin mula sa ating mga viewers kung ano ba ang kanilang pulso sa ating discussion. Yes, first tweet that we have is from Ella Sofia Real de Dios. I'm very happy to be a part of this webinar. This is an eye-opener for everyone to be conscious in using plastics in almost everything. Conserving our nature, land, and water, even air, is really important to have knowledge about. Ang ganda nung point about air na na-share sa atin ni Ms. Ana. Something that we really need to think always, lalo na kasi yun nga, it's something na hindi natin na-realize na ganun pala ang impact ng ocean sa air na hinihinga natin everyday. Next tweet naman tayo. Meron pa ba? Next tweet natin, hindi ko mabasa ang kanyang pangalan, pero this is from @Iska Baker. Kudos to all of the speakers of today's I Am Kabred, #Plastik Talk, #I Protect the Ocean webinar. They are doing something relevant where almost everyone are taking them for granted. Yun nga, marine conservation without expecting in return. Oo, no, advocacy to para sa kanila. And totoo lang, kung ano lang naman tayo bilang mga bilang mga normal na tao, ang daling pabayaan but because they feel that they have that moral obligation, they are doing something like this. Pareho nating mga kabred, no, na ganun rin naman tayo bilang mga kabred, that we want to do something good dahil nakikita natin that we have that opportunity to do good sa awa tulong ng Diyos. Next naman natin si Little Imotosis. So sige. I love the way Miss Ana described plastics to be recycled and such. Very easy to understand and sort of funny. Oo, katulad doon sa credit card. Kaya sa mga wala pang credit card, wag na kayo mag-apply. Next tweet natin, meron pa ba tayong tweet? Ang next tweet natin is from Ashley Baldoza. This webinar regarding environmental advocacy truly made me happy. It made me more aware after hearing the reality of situations from people who are directly involved on taking action to this movement. Yes. Next naman tayong tweet. Meron pa ba dyan? Ayun, from ID New G. Very applicable po talaga sa aming mga islanders. Oh, galing siyang Boracay. Itong webinar about marine conservation. Thanks be to God for this opportunity. Okay. Yon na ang ating mga comments and reactions mula sa ating Twitter party. Again, thank you very much sa ating mga kasama mula sa Twitter sa inyong pag-participate sa ating hashtag. At yun naman ngayon ay again, can we bring again in si Miss Ana, si Miss Jamin, Mr. Benj, and Mr. Yago for an awarding of our certificate of appreciation for them. Yes. Yes, this certificate of appreciation is being presented to Miss Ana Varona, Mr. Santiago Varona, Mr. Benj Esdicul, and Miss Jamin Esdicul for sharing their valuable knowledge as a guest speaker as guest speakers rather during the online event Plastik Talk, the Gen Z Hero and You, presented on March 19, 2021 via video conferencing through Zoom application and also via YouTube and Facebook. Again, this is signed by RG Purisima, the Dive program producer and director, and Maribel for also from the Dive. Yes, thank you very much again, and we present to you that virtual certificate. Thank you very much for your participation. Siguro yon, Miss Anna and team, baka meron kayong mga gustong i-plug na upcoming projects, events that you would want to invite ang ating mga kasambahay at ang ating mga kabret, or reiterate na lang siguro ang inyong mga current na activities with CoOP and with Kaligiran. Please.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Sorry. So yeah, I would like to request everybody to follow Clean Our Oceans Project at Facebook and also Instagram. And then also that we have Drop the Plastic events at Ayala Lamang Village, Ayala Southville, Pacific Village, and Lamang Hills, Ideal Subdivision, and more to come. Just hang on and take a look at Clean Our Oceans Project Facebook page so that you'll know and be updated where the drop-off points are.
Yes, thank you for that, Miss Anna. Again, I'd like to reiterate yon. Please follow Clean Our Oceans Project on Facebook and Instagram. And yon, na nakikita kita, Miss Jamin. Oo, alam ko na gusto mong i-plug ang Kaligiran. Please, do the honors.
Follow us sa Facebook and Instagram, just type Kaligiran.
Yes, o yun. And siguro no, sa ating mga kasambahay, sa ating mga kabred, if we want to also partner with them, na kunwari ikaw nakatira ka sa isang community at gusto mong makatulong sa kanila, don't hesitate to message their social media accounts para makatulong tayo sa mga ginagawa nila. Again, we would like to thank Miss Anna, Mr. Benj, Mr. Santiago, and Miss Jamin from Kaligiran and from Clean Our Oceans Project for allotting time for this very very educating na discussion that we had this afternoon. Thank you very much again sa inyong lahat. Yes, thank you. Yan. Again, I know na mga kasambahay, mga kabred, we learned a lot from this webinar. And we hope that our audience, the youth primarily, that we are with today, will be able to finally say with all conviction and sincerity that I protect the ocean.
Pagkain, hangin, tubig, hanap buhay, transportasyon, medisina, panangga sa mga epekto ng pagbabago ng klima. Sa lawak ng karagatan, hindi maitatago kung gaano ito sa ating kahalaga. Sabi nila, hindi raw kailangan ng dagat ang tao. Pero iba na ngayon ang takbo ng mundo. Kailangan ng karagatan ng ating proteksyon laban sa mga pang-aabuso at polusyon na tayo rin ang may gawa. Ikaw, ako, lahat tayo. Anumang katayuan natin sa buhay, kung ang bawat isa ay aaksyon, ay malaki ang magagawa. Kailangan lang nating magkaisa.
I protect.
I protect.
I protect.
I protect.
I protect. I protect.
I protect.
I protect.
I protect.
We protect.
We protect. We protect. We protect. We protect.
I protect the ocean.
Yes. With that, we would like to formally launch the I Protect the Ocean Facebook community group. Para lahat tayo, ang goal natin, magkaroon tayong lahat ng confidence to say that I protect the ocean. Paano nga ba ang gagawin natin dito? Pumunta lang tayo sa link na naka-flash ngayon sa ating screen. That's www.facebook.com/groups/iProtectTheOcean. Dito, magkakaroon lang ng konting security questions para maka-join kayo ng ating community group. Then from there, marami kayong mga matututunan at ma-involve kayo sa mga initiatives na ginagawa natin sa The Dive and also as part of the I Protect the Ocean initiative. This is an initiative rin na pinangungunahan ng The Dive, bilang ang The Dive rin is isang initiative na spearheaded by the UNTV CEO Kuya Daniel Rezon for us to be able to protect the ocean and to protect the environment by protecting our ang ating mga yamang tubig. At after ninyong sagutan ang inyong mga security questions dyan, please wait for the link for your certificate for today's session. Please also make sure that every time you'll be asked for your contact information, especially your email, ay tama ang ilalagay ninyo. And we will be following relevant data privacy regulations to keep your data safe. And wag rin kayo mag-alala, basta nakinig kayo, masasagutan ninyo ang quiz na nandoon sa ating Facebook community group. Hindi naman para pahirapan kayo, kundi para i-ensure na lahat tayo ay engaged bago tayo sumabak sa bago nating laban by protecting the ocean through this community group. Again, wala namang grade yung ating quiz. Gusto lang namin ma-ensure na lahat kayo umattend before we also award the certificates sa inyo. And also, by joining this exclusive group, you will gain access to the following. You can win exciting prizes through different contests about caring the environment. You will also be mesmerized with the beautiful photos and videos that we will be sharing about the ocean and its wonders. You would learn more about the ocean and about environmental preservation and conservation. And lastly, you will also be the first one to know about the next webinar of The Dive, God willing. Okay! Ngayon naman, doon naman tayo pupunta sa part kung saan makikilala natin ang bawat organisasyon na sa kawat tulong ng Diyos ay gumawa para maisakatuparan ang event natin for today. First, we have my organization. I'm very proud to say that I am part of the Bible Reader Society International. And bilang isang Bible reader, we always try to find biblical significance or facts on whatever topic we discuss. For example, dito katulad nung sinasabi ko sa paggawa ng mabuti, lahat yon nandun sa Biblia eh. So when we get to read the Bible, we also get to apply what we learn through different initiatives katulad ng ino-open sa atin ng Clean Our Oceans Project. At surely, hindi naman kami nabibigo dahil laging merong sagot ang Biblia sa ating mga tanong, especially when we want to do good not only to the environment but to our para sa ating mga kapwa-tao at para sa ating mga komunidad. And actually, to share on behalf of my partner Cindy, on behalf of The Dive, actually, that is the same principle that UNTV upholds and that UNTV stands for. Ang foundation ng The Dive at ng UNTV as a network ay kung ano yung nakasulat sa Biblia. With that, hindi naman natin hayaang magtapos ang ating webinar without us knowing more about what the Holy Scripture is saying on protecting the ocean. And to inform us on the biblical significance of protecting our oceans, here is the National Operations. Here is someone from National Operations of Bible Reader Society International. We have Brother Vic Timario. Hello, Brother Vic.
Good afternoon po. Dinig na po?
Yes, Brother Vic, dinig na po.
Apo, kapayapaan po ang sumatin at salamat po sa lahat ng mga nakipag-participate po dito po sa initiative po ng The Dive po ng UNTV. Source po sa ating po mga speakers po, sina Ma'am Ana, para kahit pa paano to educate po ang karamihan po sa mga kabataan na would play a big role in this become a game changer sa patin. Kasi yun po ang minsang ginagamit po ng mga millennials. Although we are referring to the Generation Z people. Sakalin po maliit na paraan po maging para bang makatulong din in a way ang mga kasama po sa Benj Society sa anumang mabuting objective po na gusto pa pong puntahan po ng mga advocacy po na pinupush po ng The Dive team from UNTV and also po sa ating pong mga speakers po kanina. At nagpapasalamat po kami una sa lahat sa Diyos dahil binigyan niya tayo po ng opportunity na ma-witness pa ang ganitong klase po ng occasion. So, before I go in talagang, meron po talagang prepare din po kami na mas maitatakil, ma-develop into in a deeper perspective itong pag-uusap po natin. Kahit paano lang po, mai-inform lang din po namin kung hindi pa rin po kilala ng iba ang mga members from Red Society International. Bahagi din po kasi ng aming pong advocacy na stated din naman po sa aming pong registration na kahit papaano sa maliit na paraan din naman ay maging bahagi kami ng solution, huwag maging liability dahil the youth of today really play a very significant role. Kung parang isang moving napanood ko nun is, ano po ata yun, yung Bruce Almighty, sabi sa kanya nung nagpo-portray na Diyos, na God, sabi niya kay Bruce, one random act of kindness if you want to change the world. So, magkaroon ng pagbabago, hindi naman yun makukuha agad na mabilisan or marami agad. It takes time, pero mag-uumpisa yun sa isang kumbaga big step somehow para mapasimulan pa at to gain notice and somehow follow the footstep na magdadala sa atin sa mas mabuting path. At yun po ang sinisikap din po syempre ng ating po mga marine biologists na pinagmamalasakit syempre isa lang naman ito mundong atin pong kinabibilangan. At yun po ang sinasabi po kasi sa Bible 1726 po ng Books of Acts. Ginawa niya sa isa ang bawat bansa ng mga tao para magsipanahan sa balat ng buong lupa. Kaya isa lang naman yung mundong conducive para tirhan ng tao. Wala naman pong ibang lugar na pwedeng masabi po natin na doon tayo maglumaga. Although meron pong may mga pangarap po ata, pati sila Elon Musk ata na to invade Mars. Pero ang reality po kasi, biblically speaking, meron lang kasing isang lugar para doon po ang tao tumira in relation to sa kanyang environment na compatible siya. At yun naman po ang nakikita natin. Even science attest to that. Walang ibang kaparehong planeta. Meron pa sila sinasabing mga exoplanet. Wala po silang makitang kapareho sa mundo, sa Earth, na pwedeng doon tumira po ang tao. So with that, we only have one planet to live in as of the moment. Diba? Kaya ako po sinasabing as of the moment, dahil we as Bible readers believe that there is a better place to live in. Sinasabi po doon sa chapter 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 17. May sinasabi po kasi ron na mas magandang doon mag-dwell. Pero syempre dahil andito pa tayo, takes time muna para mag-qualify tayo ron. May bilin yung mayayaman sa sanlibutan ito. Sabi, pagbilinan mo na huwag magsipagmataas ng pag-iisip. Huwag magsipag-asa sa mga kayamanang di nananatili, kundi ang pag-asa dapat yung Diyos na nagbibigay sa ating sagana ng lahat ng bagay upang ating ikagalak. Sabi po rin sa 19, nagpasa natin. Ang sabi sa 19, magtipon sa kanilang sarili ng isang mabuting kinasasaligan para sa panahong darating. Meron po kasing panahon pa na forthcoming ahead. Na yung panahong darating niyon, ang sabi, upang sila na nagtipon ng mabubuting gawa para sa kanila, para maging saligan nila, para dun sa panahong darating, upang sila na nagtipon para doon, makapanangan sa buhay na tunay na buhay. So doon po pala sa panahong darating, andun yung talagang buhay na tunay na buhay. At ko po sinabing ganun kasi buhay din tayo ngayon. May buhay din ngayon. Pero masasabi ko rin naman po, biblically speaking, yung buhay sa buhay na ito, hindi ito yung tunay na buhay. Kasi yung tunay na buhay, dapat yung walang kamatayan. Eh, yung buhay na kamatayan. Yung tunay na buhay, wala na rin pagkagutom eh. Eh dito, para mabuhay ka, kailangan mo kumain kasi nga, nagugutom ka. O doon sa tunay na buhay, hindi ka na iiyak. Kasi dito sa buhay nito, iiyak ka because of loss of someone, because of depression, anxiety, and so forth. So marami, pero buhay din ito. Pero may mas magandang buhay ahead. Pero as of the moment, para mag-qualify tayo, meron pa rito buhay na dapat din naman, dito sa buhay na ine-enjoy din natin as of the moment, meron din tayong responsibility na maingatan din ito, and that the youth plays a major role. We become a game changer. Sabi nga ni Franklin D. Roosevelt, sabi niya, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Hindi kasi natin sa kagustuhan ng tao makakuha ng utopian environment. Ang nagagawa, dystopia. Di ba? Yung panahon ni Hitler, nagkaroon sila ng para bang malaking pagkakilala sa kanilang race na yung tinatawag po nila na para bang yung useless eaters, pinapatay nila. Although humans yun dahil meron silang pagkakilala sa kanilang race na they were of the para bang intelligent race. Pagka Jews ka, so nakakaroon ng discrimination. Kasi now is the time to get ourselves together para magkaroon tayo ng isang objective na somehow hindi man ito talaga yung kumbaga fruitful life to enjoy with, kasi pansamantala lang tayo rito eh. Pero somehow yung magagawa natin dito could qualify us for the better life doon sa totoong buhay. And with that, doon po namin somehow gustong simulan din sa Bread Society para ma-educate din sa atin yung sinasabi nga pong behavioral change. Kasi sa Bible, sinasabi ko yun sa 1 Timothy, sa King James Version, chapter 3, verse 15. Sinasabi rin yung, how thou oughtest to behave thyself. Merong proper way of behaving. Sinasabi sa Bible yun. Kaya po ang scriptures, isinulat po yan para po reproof, para turuan ang tao how people should behave thyself. May proper behavior. Kasi sa Bible, tingnan niyo lang po, same environment din naman po yung tinitirahan ng mga Christians noon, pati yung kanilang mga oppressors. Pero they coexist. Sabi nga nila, the human being is an adaptable being. We react to stimulus. Pwede tayong mag-adjust, especially so if you are a God-fearing person. Ganun po yun. So, yung God-fearing person, alam niya kung paano siyang magko-cohabitat with the same creature existing with him. Pwede. Ganun kasi ang Kristiyano, naturuan siya ng katwiran. So kahit para bang yung sa environment, sila, para bang wala silang, reckless sila sa pangangalaga ng kanilang kalikasan, ng kanilang environment. Pero yung Christian, alam niya, hindi siya tutulad sa ganun. Pero they share the same place. They cohabit the same environment and avenues. Pero nakakapag-adjust pagka ang isang tao is God-fearing. So doon po namin ine-educate din ng mga kabataan to somehow read the Bible. Kasi lalo na pagkabataan, sabi nga nila, when you're a youth, hindi naman para i-demean natin yung capacity ng isang kabataan. Napakahusay nga ng kabataan. Lalo na pagka hindi corrupted yung kanyang isip. Ang isang bagay na reality po, sabi nga nila, kids are wet behind the ears. Baga basa pa yung likod ng tenga mo para bang you lack experience na mayroon doon sa mga ahead sa inyo, sa atin, ng ilang generation na yung experience nila, malaki ang may impart nun eh. Kaya nga naririnig ko rin yung kay Kuya Daniel, yung CEO po ng UNTV, na minsan kayo mga kabataan, makikinig din kayo sa aming mga matatanda. Hindi dahil marami na kaming ginawang tama, kundi marami na kaming ginawang pagkakamali. At yung pagkakamali na yun, ayaw na namin magawa pa rin. Because of experience, yun yung advantage kasi pagka merong ahead sa atin. Kaya nga tayo, di ba, pumapasok tayo sa paaralan. Kasi yun yung value ng education eh. Di ba, na ma-educate tayo. Hindi naman pwedeng mas marunong pa tayo sa nagtuturo sa atin. Kaya nga tayo pumapasok. That's why we attend schooling. Kasi naniniwala tayo, meron tayong hindi alam na alam nung magtuturo sa atin. Especially so, pagka nag-gain ng experience po yun. So sa Bible, binabanggit din po kasi yun, sabi sa Hebrew chapter 5, verse 13, sabi po doon, o sa 14 na po, para ano, sa English, sabi ron, strong meat belonging to them that are full of age, even those, okay, but strong meat belonging to them that are of full age, even those who, by reason of use, have their senses exercised. Pagka ang tao umidad na, pagka nakagain na siya ng experience, di ba, hindi na siya parang wet behind the ears, meron nang nade-develop sa kanya. Di ba, kahit sila, sabi nga nila, kinesthetically speaking, sabi nila, yung senses, yung katawan mo, nagre-react na siya sa movement mo. Bakit? Kasi naka-develop ka na ng muscle memory. Doon lang po sa ating structure, sa anatomy natin, napapatunayan natin, totoo yung sinasabi po ng Bible, na who by reason, when you become of full age, nagkakaroon ka na ng pakiramdam. Alam mo na kung alin yung tama at alin yung mali. Di ba? Yung bata ka, maaaring hindi mo pa alam na basura, dapat itapon mo sa ganun. Hindi pa naiintindihan. Pero later on, as you go along with your age, nare-realize mo, kahit nga kung minsan wala nang nagtuturo sa'yo, alam mo, mali yung ginagawa mo. Hindi yun yung proper. Di ba? Na pagka yung balat na saging, ihuhulog mo lang dyan, dun sa hindi proper bin, pagka may nadulas pa ron, mag-create pa ng accident. So, later, marirealize mo pagka nagka-edad ka na. So, yun yung sinasabi rin po kasi sa Bible, na hindi po kontra ang Bible sa sinasabi ng nature. Kasi nature itself is part of the teachings of the first century Christian. Sinasabi po yun sa 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14 na sinasabi rin that not even nature itself teach you. So kahit yung naturalesa, ginagamit ng mga Kristiyano sa pagtuturo Pagka Kristiyano ka, nagbibigay yun ng advantage sa iyo para magkaroon ka ng somehow knowledge na hindi kagaya po ng sinasabi ng iba na ang Bible and science is contradict itself. Hindi po totoo yun. Kasi nature itself, sinasabi yun Ginagamit din po ng mga Kristiyano yun. So, what we need now is to have this behavioral change. Ewan ko po kung napanood nyo po yung isa po kasing sinasabi po ng senses is yung 12:26 po ng 1 Corinthians. Sinasabi kasi ron, referring to those kinesthetics na sinasabi, 12:26 po ng 1 Corinthians, sabi, pagka ang isang sangkap nagdaramdam, ang buong sangkap nagdaramdam na kasama niya. Di ba yun ang totoo? Sabi nga po ng mga matatanda, sakit ng kalingkingan, damdamin ng buong katawan. So, just take it na iisa lang naman itong titirhan natin. Lahat tayo nakikinabang sa bounties ng resources na mayroon tayo. Actually, sabi nga po nila, the earth has enough for man's need, but not enough for man's greed. Sabi sa Bible, pagka ang isang sangkap nagdaramdam, dapat yung buong sangkap nagdaramdam na kasama niya. Diba? Hindi mo naman pwede sabihin sa katawan mo, nasugatan yung paa mo. Sabihin ka, hindi naman ako si bahala, siya gamutin niya yung paa niya mag-isa. Hindi Kasi makikinabang yung kamay pagka bumuti yung paa. Tayo parang ganun din bilang para bang isang bahagi tayo ng isang malaking katawan, hindi mo pwede sabihin hindi ka nakikinabang pagka nalinis yung environment natin, yung marine life natin, properly na ingatan siya. Doon ka rin kukuha ng kakainin mo. Diba? Hindi pala nang gagaling yung 7 out of 10 na ini-inhale natin is coming from the ocean. Doon pala yun. Okay? Pagka hindi natin yung pinahalagahan ito, may problema tayo eventually. So doon po tayo dapat mas lalong, kumbaga, we should get our acts together. Ewan ko po kung napanood nyo rin yung pelikulang mahilig po kasi ako. Minsan parang mas madaling maintindihan kasi minsan kailangan mo manood ka ng ibang mga parabang movie na people can relate with. Ewan ko kung napanood nyo po yung The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yung kay Keanu Reeves. He played the role of Klaatu na siya ata yung i-destroy niya na yung Earth. Parang siya, isang alien siya. So nung napunta na siya ron, nakausap niya ata si Professor Barnhart ata yung pangalan. So nagkaroon sila ng discussion dahil nga parang siya yung may kapangyarihan para i-destroy yung Earth. So nung nag-usap daw sila ron, sabi ni Professor sa kanya, sabi ni Klaatu, meron din pala kasi siyang ganung experience during their time in their own planet. Na sinabi niya kasi no na our sun is dying. So we had to evolve in order to survive. So mamamatay na rin pala yung araw nila doon sa planet nila. Kaya ang ginawa nila, nag-evolve sila, meaning nag-adjust sila. So here comes Klaatu na survivor from their planet, papunta naman doon siya sa Earth para i-destroy din yung Earth. Kasi nga, pasama na yung mundo. Dahil ganun din, pinabayaan ng mga tao. So sinabi raw sa kanya ng professor, so it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are. Sabi nga ni Klaatu, yes, sabi niya. Para bang, sinabi naman ni professor, ganun din kami. Ganun din kami, hindi naman niya para bang pinakatigasan na iningatan nila yung mundo nila, yung Earth, sabi ni professor. Ganun din kami. It is only on the brink that the people has the will to change. Kung minsan sa tao, ganun Pagka malakas pa siya, o ayaw niyang tigilan yung bisyo, ganito, sige, malakas pa ako. Pero pagka kung minsan, nagkasakit na, katakot-takot na panalangin sa Diyos. Sinasabi rin kasi sa pasyon yun. Pagka ang sakit, marami, ang pangako marami. Pero pagka gumaling na at bumuti, ang Diyos man di na masabi. Kasi out of ignorance, wala po kasi silang knowledge o pagkakilala sa aral ng Diyos. So somehow, parang doon ko nakita yung in relation to sa scenario na sabi ni Professor Klaatu na it is only at the brink of destruction that the people find the will to change. And only at the precipice do we evolve. So sabi niya, we are close to an answer, sabi ni Professor. Malapit na kami sa sagot. Don't take it from us. Parang nakikiusap siya, huwag mo muna i-destroy yung mundo namin. Kayo nga, kumbaga, nag-adjust kayo, nag-evolve kayo dahil alam nyo, mawawasak na yung mundo nyo. Kami ganun din, malapit na kami sa sagot. So don't take it from us. Gusto rin namin makita yung solution. So to correlate that with our present situation, makikita nyo, minsan may mga tao ganun pagka nakita na lang nila, yan, yung mga nangyari po, kung familiar po kayo, yung mga nagkaroon po ng mga yung sa summer in Leyte po, yung nagkaroon ng hindi siya tsunami pa po nun, di ba? Parang storm surge din na marami po ang tao ang napahamak din doon. Tapos may mga areas din po na nakat na yung mga trees kaya dahil doon nag-erode. So mas madaling na wash out yung kanilang yung lupa, nagkaroon ng erosion ng soil. So natabunan ng marami. Wala rin po kasi kaming alam, mga kababayan, na other creature aside from humans na may capacity na i-destroy ang mundo. Wala po kaming alam na ganun. Mas humongous ang dinosaurs. Proven Pero hindi nila nagawang i-destroy ang Earth Manapa. Eventually sila pa nga ang nawala into existence. And yung kanilang pa ang nagamit na fossil fuel pa. Pero wala silang capacity to destroy the whole Earth. Bukod tanging ang tao lang. And that's why somebody is pleading for us na ipagmalasakit din natin ito. Kasi biblically speaking po, binabanggit din po yun doon sa Revelation chapter 11 verse 18. Sabi ron, them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. May mga tao parurusahan din eventually dahil dinestroy nila yung earth. Tao yung may kakayahan. Hindi po kasi kaya ng hindi po kaya ng by nature, di ba sabi nga nila may food chain, yung instinct na para magkaroon ng cycle or ng balance of nature, di ba? Merong ganun eh. So, sila lang ang magkakainan sa isa't isa, pero walang threat yun para ma-hamper yung ecosystem natin. Kung sila lang by themselves, yung mga other creatures aside from humans, bukod tanging ang tao lang kasi humans are more dominant than other creatures. Sinasabi po sa Bible yun, doon po sa Genesis na chapter 128 ata yun or 126 na sinasabi po doon, binigyan siya ng kapamahalaan sa lahat ng hayop sa lahat ng bagay, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Ang may dominion tao. Kaya ang tao rin ang pagka hindi niya na-assess yung kanyang ginagawa, may capacity siyang sirain, to totally annihilate, hindi rin earth na sinasabi na dedraw, which is rampant na nowadays. Nakikita naman natin kung ano nangyari sa mga effects of our that we live. So yun ang namin sa Bread Society. Gusto na rin ito ng salamat po sa lahat na naging involved nito pong advocacy. Naniniwala po kami
Yes, again, yan po si Brad Vic Mario mula po sa Bible Reader Society International. Truly, very relevant na yun nga eh. Baka kasi nagtataka yung mga kabred natin, bakit ba may Bible Reader Society na involved dyan? Well, kasi yun nga, katulad ng lahat ng sinabi ni Brad Vic, lahat naman ito ay connected sa kung ano yung mga nakasulat sa Biblia. And ako, I am very much thankful first to God, first and foremost, at sa ating mga kasama sa The Dive for giving us in the Bible Reader Society International this opportunity for us to also share kung ano yung mga natutunan natin mula sa Biblia. Na if you look at it naman, yung mga natututunan natin sa Biblia are very much related doon sa mga advocacies na sinasabi nila Miss Anna a while ago. Kasi lalo na mapapansin natin, di ba, yung sinabi ni Miss Anna on behavioral change at kung paanong nare-relate yun sa kung ano rin ang nakasulat sa Biblia. And I'm not sure, pero Brad Vic, are you already there? Yes.
Dinig na po, Robert.
Yes.
Sorry
Brad
po.
Vic, yes po.
Saan po ba ako nakat? Sisa na po.
I think po yung sa ano po, Bible Reader Society also believing doon sa na ang Gen Z po can do a lot of
yes.
ano po.
Opo, yun naman po ang aming appeal from Bread Society na through Bible reading, mas lalo nyo pong may enjoy yung pagiging youth pagka guided po tayo ng scriptures at hindi po kayo mamamali. Hindi po kayo malilihis ng landas sa buhay. Makikita mo how significant are the other creatures being created by God for our consumption, for our benefit. Lahat ng yan, tao kasi ang may kinabang. So sana, through this sort of a talk, I am honored to introduce our speaker po on this topic. Somehow, makapag-enlighten us ng panibagong hope pa sa paggawa. At isa po rin kasi siya sa amin pong mga stakeholder din. At katulong po palagi pag kami mga kailangan ni Comrade Society to extend a helping hand to others from UNTV po also, especially po kay Kuya Daniel. pinagkakalob na po namin sa inyo po ang short discussion po regarding on this topic coming po from Brother Eli Soriano. Nandito po ang message po sa ating Brother Eli.
Nakasaad sa Biblia ang lahat ng mangyayaring totoong mangyayari. At isa sa pangyayaring mangyayari, yung nasa ikalawang Pedro 3, Gs at 7.
Datapwat darating ang araw ng Panginoon na gaya ng magnanakaw, na ang sangkalangitan sa araw na iyan ay mapaparam na kasabay ng malaking ugong, at ang mga bagay sa langit ay mapupugnaw sa matinding init, at ang lupa at ang mga gawang nasa lupa ay pawang masusunog. Ngunit ang sangkalangitan ngayon at ang lupa sa pamamagitan ng gayunding salita ay iniingatang talaga sa apoy na itinataan sa araw ng paghuhukom at ng paglipol sa mga taong masama.
Nasa Biblia yan, kapatid, napakaraing talata na ang lupa masusunog. Alam mo, scientifically speaking, possible ito eh. Sa dami-dami ngayon ng nuclear warheads ng mundo, sapat na para sumabog ang lupa eh. Pero hindi magugunaw ang mundo dahil diyan sa mga yan. Kundi, ayon sa Biblia, ang magko-contribute sa pagkagunaw ng mundo, yung pagkasira mismo ng atmosphere at saka yung ating space that surrounds the earth, yung tinatawag na langit, yung firmament. Sabi sa Gs, darating ang araw ng Panginoon gaya ng magnanakaw, na ang sangkalangitan sa araw na yan mapaparam kasabay ng malaking ugong. So ang distraction, hindi lupa lang eh. Una munang malulusaw yung mga bagay na galing sa langit eh. No? Tapos ang lupa at ang gawang nasa lupa masusunog dahil doon sa element na matutunaw sa langit. Alam natin maraming elemento sa langit, mga bituin, mga planeta, matutunaw yan eh. At magko-contribute yan sa pagkawasak din ng mundo. Yun ang sinasabi sa Biblia. At yan naman ay totoo. Kasi salita ng Diyos yan na nasa Biblia at yan eh hindi kayang matutulan ng siyensya. Miski ang siyensya naniniwala, darating ang araw, yung ating araw, yung sun, yung araw, ay magiging isang red giant na mag-i-insinuate ng pagkawasak ng entire solar system. Pero yun ang sabi ng siyensya, no? Pero sa Biblia hindi ganon. Ang sa Biblia, yung nasa mga bagay na nasa langit, mapupugnaw yan sa matinding init. Pag napugnaw yan, ang lupa ang kasunod. No? Kaya, yun din ang nasa pasyong Katoliko eh. Magmumula nga sa langit, ulan, apoy na masakit. Sa lupa'y halos tumakit. Susunog magpapasakit sa mga taong bulisik. Ayon, magmumula sa langit, ulan, apoy na masakit. Sa lupa'y halos tumakip, susunog magpapasakit sa mga taong bulisik. Kaya alam mo kapatid, yung sinasabi sa pasyon, kinopya yung ibang bahagi ng pasyon, kinopya sa Biblia. Ang sanlibutan ito magwawakas. Kasi may nagtuturo, hindi raw magwawakas ang mundo, gaya ng saksi ni Jehovah. Malaking kasinungalingan yon. Magwawakas talaga, may itinakdang wakas ang Diyos para sa lupa. Zephanias 1:18.
Kahit ang kanilang pilak o ang kanilang gintuman ay hindi makapagliligtas sa kanila sa kaarawan ng kapuotan ng Panginoon, kundi ang buong lupain ay masusupok sa pamamagitan ng apoy ng kanyang paninibugho, sapagkat wawakasan niya. Oo, isang kakilakilabot na wakas nilang lahat na nagsisitahan sa lupain.
Ayun, mayroong wakas talagang darating sa mundo. Kung kailan pati ang mundo mawawala, itong earth, papalitan ito ng isang bagong mundo, papalitan ito ng Diyos. 21:1 ng Apokalipsis.
At nakita ko ang isang bagong langit at ang isang bagong lupa, sapagkat ang unang langit at ang unang lupa ay naparam, at ang dagat ay wala na.
Nakita ni Juan yung mangyayari. Nakita ko isang bagong langit, isang bagong lupa. Sapagkat ang unang langit at ang unang lupa ay naparam, ang dagat ay wala na. Ayun. Darating talaga sa wakas ang mundo.
Yes, again, we would like to thank Brad Vic Mario, National Servant from Bible Reader Society International, and of course, International Televangelist, Brother Eli Soriano. And we thank God because despite na hindi na natin kasama in flesh si Brother Eli Soriano, ay meron tayong mga ganitong videos where we get to really understand kung ano ba ang significance ng ganitong mga issues and kung paano natin ma-relate ito sa mga nakasulat sa banal na kasulatan. I also would like to share na Bible Reader Society is very much grateful that despite being a non-sectarian organization, kasama natin si Brother Eli Soriano at pati ang UNTV sa paggawa at sa iba't iba nating mga social civic activities. And we are really glad that despite everything that has happened, buhay na buhay pa rin ang alaala ni Brother Eli at ang iba't ibang mga naituro niya sa awa tulong ng Diyos sa ating mga kasama sa Bible Reader Society. With that, hindi na ako masyado magkukwento pa about Bible Reader Society, but we invite you to join our organization if you want to also take part in the different social civic activities that we are doing, not only here in the Philippines, but all across the globe. With that, we have our different social media platforms, our different social media channels. That we have Facebook, Twitter, our email address, and our YouTube account. Please feel free to message us for you to be able to connect with us para makabahagi kayo sa iba't ibang mga activities ng Bible Reader Society. And kami sa Bible Reader Society, and I know mula sa The Dive, we are very much thankful to each other, and of course, first and foremost, thankful to God for having this partnership and for bringing this partnership to a reality. And just like our promise, hindi naman namin nakalimutan ang isdang kanina pa nagsiswimming sa ilalim namin. At alam ko naman na gustong-gusto ninyong manalo ng iba't ibang mga papremyo mula sa The Dive at mula sa Bread Society. Kaya sana na-note ninyo ang inyong mga numbers. At ngayon ay bubuksan na natin ang Menti Room kung saan ninyo ilalagay ang inyong mga answers. Ang Menti code natin for that room is 8541-6242. Again, that's 8541-6242. Again, we would like to also ask ang ating mga kasamang organizers for our Menti code. I'm not sure if it's 8541-6246 or 6242. Please clarify na lang, but it's 8541-6246. Please input your answer using this format: answer, name, and contact number. Kung hindi kayo makakonect again sa 8541-6242, punta kayo sa 8541-6246. Ang unang makakatamang sagot or pinakamalapit ang sagot with the complete information ang mananalo ng ating mga pakinggan para sa hapon na ito. Please also do not forget your name and number, and in the interest of time, sorry, ang haba na nung ano natin ngayon. Pero yun, i-contact na lang namin kayo to inform you of your prizes. Ngayon naman, second batch ng ating mga partner organizations. Again, while I'm reading our partner organizations, schools and universities, please feel free to key in your answers with that format on that Menti code. Ngayon, again, we would like to thank first and foremost God for our partner schools and universities. We have First Cruz Naligas High School, Landi National High School, Marinduque State College, University of Makati, Kalayan Educational Foundation Incorporated, Katanawa National High School, Doña Rosario High School, dalubhasaan ng lungsod ng Lucena, Alternative Learning System of Quezon City, Easter Quezon College, Gulang-Gulang National High School, Manila Science High School, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, San Vicente Elementary School, Southern Luzon State University, University of Caloocan City, Sorsogon State College, Sorsogon City Campus, KKDAT, Kabataan kontra Droga at Terorismo, Pasig City, Iloilo, ALS, Alternative Learning System again, from Palayan City. And of course, we would like to thank all of our participants, all of our audience for, again, participating actively sa discussions natin for today. I think ang pinakamataas na count natin for our audience ay nasa 2,323. With that, first and foremost again, we are thankful to God and we are thankful sa inyo, sa inyong pakikiparticipate sa ating event sa araw na ito. We would also want to remind everyone again of our community page. That's facebook.com/groups/iprotecttheocean. Again, that's iprotecttheocean. Please join there for you to be able to also get your certificates of participation. We also would like to plug again and we would like to invite you to watch the 7th season of The Dive. Yes. Kasama natin ang The Dive. Yes.
Experience new exciting dive adventures. Take a plunge with your dive guide. Discover the mystifying underwater world. Behold the unbelievable. Be amazed by the wonders of creation. Raise ocean awareness. Be first in ocean updates. And be inspired with the intensified marine conservation advocacies. I protect the ocean. Gear up for a new chapter of making waves beneath. With your diving buddy, The Dive, on its Season 7.
Yes, again, that's the 7th season of The Dive again. Lalo na sa ating mga naka-lockdown ngayon at hindi makapunta sa beach, hayaan natin na ang The Dive team ang magdala sa ating mga pangarap na mapuntahan after lockdown. Of course, we also would like to plug the different social media channels of The Dive. We also have, I think, the Facebook account of The Dive. Please, kung nanonood na kayo ngayon dito, like nyo na rin, di ba? Pati ang ating YouTube channel ng The Dive and also the social media channels of UNTV. Yeah, ito pala ang Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter handle of The Dive. That's The Dive PH. And for YouTube, we have The Dive Philippines. We also would like to plug ang ating mga social media channels for UNTV. Please just search on UNTV News and Rescue. We also have ang ating iba't ibang mga projects on UNTV like iba't-ibang mga social media, iba't ibang mga social civic activities rather where Bread Society is involved like Serbisyong Bayanihan and other projects na pinapangunahan ng ating mga kasama sa UNTV who have been strong partners of the Bible Reader Society sa iba't iba nating mga activities that caters on helping not only the environment but also our fellow men. With that, on behalf of my partner Cindy, ako si Vergel Villanueva, and we have been your hosts for today. Again, sana magkita-kita tayo kung lolobin ng Diyos sa ating susunod na webinar. And together, let us protect the ocean. Thank you and goodbye!